Niranjan, we are waiting to get the go sign from you.
Yeah, ma'am, you can able to start it.
Okay, my recording has not started, dear. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am, recording, ma'am.
Yes. Dr. Virginia.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are around the world. We want to welcome you to the G20 International One Planet Cabinet 2025. We are delighted to have you join us in this evening as we gather virtually to engage in critical discussions on a topic that touches all of us, climatic adaptation. As we convene today, 9th of March 2025, we stand united, the presidency of the pressing reality. Climate change is here. It is not just an abstract concept or a distant threat. It is a challenge that demands our immediate attention into action. Together, we must not only acknowledge this reality, but also commit ourselves to finding and implementing sustainable solutions that will shape a resilient future for our planet and all of its inhabitants. Tonight, we will delve into this series of pivotal topics that will guide our discussions. Our first focus will be on understanding the implications on global warming, particularly the critical threshold of 1.5 degrees Celsius. This understanding is essential as we explore the projected impacts of climate change and the associated risks that threaten our people, our economies, and the ecosystems across various sectors and regions. We will also examine the reasons for concern that vividly illustrate these impacts, reminding us of the urgency with which we must act. The pathways we choose for emissions and the transitions we make in our system must align with the goals of limiting global warming to the 1.5. Our discussions will highlight the interconnectedness of climate action and sustainable development, emphasizing that our responses must not only mitigate climate change, but also promote equity and prosperity for all. As we embark on this journey of deliberation, let us remember that our collective efforts can drive meaningful change. Each of us has a role to play in strengthening the global response to climate change. But I know that together we can forge a path that not only addresses the climate crisis, but also enhances, excuse me, the resilience of communities and ecosystems. I encourage each one of us to share our insights, our experiences, and our ideas throughout this time that we're going to spend together today. Let us foster this spirit of collaboration and innovation as we seek to create actionable strategies that will resonate beyond this meeting today. I am really, really excited to be here, especially representing IIU, International Internship University. International Internship University is a leading global educational institution that focuses on delivering practical skill based learning through internships. Our mission is to bridge the gap between traditional academic education and the real world job market, providing students with hands on experience in their chosen field. Through our advanced virtual platform, IIU connects over 1,000 voluntary e-educators, professors, leaders, and experts from across the entire globe. We offer a diverse range of courses designed to meet the demands of today's careers, including cutting-edge programs in AI, robotics, blockchain, and much more. IIU is a registered institution in South Wales, Australia, under the Trust Act in India, and holds the international registration in the US and Nepal. In addition to our virtual platform, IIU offers a physical campus in India for internship programs. Here, our students can engage in fields such as law, social sciences, rural development, tourism, NGO sectors, entrepreneurship, leadership, and sustainable development goals based internships. These include eco friendly farming, water harvesting, solar energy, clean air initiatives, healthcare, and rural development. Students can also participate in our residential internship program, which provides immersive learning experiences. As we work towards becoming the world's first UGC approved virtual internship based university, IIU remains committed to providing high quality, accessible, and flexible education to students globally, including those in very remote areas. Our focus on 21st century skills ensures that students are well prepared to build successful careers in the industries of the future. Every single one of our seminars, workshops, and sessions are WEP endorsed World Education Policy. Our goal is that all barriers to education is eradicated so everybody has access to. Thank you for your commitment to our crucial cause today. Let us all engage in this meaningful dialogue and let's work together to pave the way toward a sustainable future for our planet. So I want to welcome you again, and it is a great pleasure for me to introduce the remarkable individual at the heart of our gathering today. She is not only an exceptional educator, but she's also a dedicated advocate for climate change, tirelessly working to create a sustainable future for all of us. Please join me in welcoming the profoundly professional and always inspired Dr. Srividya Sukumar.
Thank you, Virginia. Thank you. That was a wonderful note and a warm welcome to each and every one of you on behalf of Dr. Virginia and IIU University as well. Thank you so much. On that note, please, may I welcome all our community partners who have joined us on this stage, starting from Global Sustainable Futures. Thank you so much with Dr. Renuka, IIU with Dr. Virginia, and IGEN, the Institution of Green Engineers with Dr. Ramesh, and the person who has joined us is Dr. Hema, who is representing MGI University. Thank you so much, Dr. Hema. Thanks for joining us. And moving ahead, we would like to extend a warm welcome to Good Vision Seva Trust as well. And the representation is going to soon join us very soon. And Amity University, Dubai, thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Vinod Shukla. Thanks for your incessant support. And it really keeps on inspiring us again and again. Thank you to take us forward. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us with Professor Adel Ahmed. Thank you so much. Thank you SRM College of Engineering and the SRM Group for joining us on this platform. And maybe extend our warm welcome to Sai Ram Engineering College. Thank you so much, Dr. Tanuja, who is representing Sai Ram Engineering College. Thanks, ma'am. Thanks for joining us. Thank you so much. And Ishwar College of Engineering, thank you so much. Thanks for the representation. St. Xavier's College of Engineering, thank you so much. Ishwari College of Engineering, thank you so much. JNN Institute of College of Engineering, Gracious Legacy Foundation, thank you so much. And the Global Foundation for Peace. Green Planet, Green Brigade, thank you so much. Universal Human Values, thank you so much. And apart from that, we are always joined with Dr. Zahira. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. Dr. Anjum Qureshi, thanks for joining us, representing IGEN. Esther Mala, ma'am, thank you so much. Dr. Esther Mala from Malaysia. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for joining us. Mr. Vijay Pavitra ji. Thank you for joining us. And Mr. Pradeep Mohapatra. Hope I'm getting your name right, sir. Thank you, Secretary Udema Bhubaneswar, representing from Bhubaneswar, and Mr. Manga Ram. I think I'm getting your name right. Yes, Mr. Manga Ram, who is representing Sustainable Solutions from India. Apart from that, I extend a warm welcome to all our speakers who have joined us today. Mr. Digambar, Professor Steve Jose, Dr. Jose, thank you so much. And our speaker, Ms. Dr. Jannat Bibi. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for joining us. And right, Mr. Manoj Babu, if I'm getting your name right. Yes, sir. Thank you. Dr. Bishnupada Bose, thank you so much. And Mr. Marlene Binoji, thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. And there's one more speaker whom I don't want to miss in the mention. I'm sorry. And he's the first one, actually, rather. From Nigeria, Klipangat Nikitik. Thank you for joining us. Okay, now extending a warm welcome to our beautiful topic for today, climatic adaptation. I'm sure that this is one of the topics which is very close to our heart because this is echoing in the world too much all these days. And of course, it's, sorry, somebody has to say something. Yeah, thank you. So what is this climatic adaptation and from where does it start from? Believe me, it starts from each one of us. Hope everybody will agree with me. So on that note, let me just introduce the topic today. I have the duty to introduce the topic today. So going ahead and following suit with Dr. Virginia, climatic change adaptation means altering our behavior, starting from self, altering our systems to the community, and in some cases, the ways of life to protect our families, means protect ourselves, our families, our economies, our environmental landscape, and over on to the globe to live without the impact of the climatic change. So this is what is climatic change adaptation means. Hope I got it right. So how to get these things done with all the climatic change and the mitigation processes involved. Some examples with my little knowledge, I would like to make a mention here before going on to the eminent speakers who have joined us on board. Creating together the building standards for the areas where it can be adapted, it can be mitigated, thereby doesn't limiting our sources and resources, not jeopardizing the present situation, but still welcoming the sustainable change which can come in the process of doing it. So the 4 types of adaptation which can do, as I mentioned, is infrastructural adaptation, institutional adaptation, behavioral analysis and the adaptation which is required, and also nature-based adoptions which can be involved. Some examples of these can be found in building seawalls, inland flood defenses, providing new insurance schemes, or changing crop planting times and schemes according to the local environment where you live in. So installing green roof, green spaces, and don't forget about the green economy, which is going to follow suit very soon. Thank you so much. On that note, may we put your hands together to welcome Dr. Tanuja on stage, who is going to welcome all speakers, and we open the topic to all these eminent speakers who have joined us on this platform today. Thank you so much. Over to Dr. Tanuja. Thank you.
Thank you so much, madam. Very good evening, very pleasant evening to all. I'm very proud to invite all our eminent speakers for today's G20 International One Planet Cabinet on climate adaptation. It is a very significant topic. Everyone has to follow, because for our sustainable living, this is very, very important. And for this reason, today, this climate adaptation topic is with this, and our many eminent speakers join us. I invite the first speaker for today's session.
Tanujam, we are inviting Professor Adil Ahmed first, because he has got an emergency to attend, but still he has made his presence. So pointer number 6 will be taken first. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. I invite Dr. Adil Ahmed, sir, as the first our speaker of today's session. Actually, he is a professor. Adil Ahmed is a distinguished academic and industry expert with over 30 years of experience in higher education institutions across the UK and Middle East, renowned for his innovative teaching, impactful research, and strategic leadership. He has made significant contributions to curriculum development, student mentorship, and industry partnership. As a full-time professor at Amity University, Dubai Business School, and head of the Sustainable Finance Group at the UAE University Climate Network, Professor Adil specializes in sustainable finance, impact, investing, and ESG strategies. So I welcome you, sir, to present on the pointer number 6, inductive linkages between mitigation options and sustainable development using SDGs. Forum is you, sir. Please.
Thank you very much. Can you allow me to share the slides?
Yes, you can share your screen, Professor.
Yes. Okay. I hope you can see the screen now.
It's loading. It's visible. I think you can go ahead with your presentation. Thank you, Professor.
Yes, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that. First of all, I would like to thank all the team. They are organizing this event, and this event is not only today; it is every Sunday, which it is very good, and try to work together. As all of you agreed, it is not a responsibility for the government. It's not a responsibility for the institutional. It's not a responsibility for the individual, but it's all of us responsible. So for everyone, they have to play a role on that. And my area, it is sustainable finance, which I will go actually through what is sustainable finance and how this sustainable finance will provide the resilience future for our climate adaptations for that. I am professor in accounting and sustainable finance. At the same time, I'm the head of sustainable finance group, which is part of the 38 university in UAE, which comprise all the activity and under the one umbrella. It's called the University Climate Network Action for the Climate. My title today, it will be actually related to try to make sure it is moving. Yes. I'm not going to cover all of this because I go to touch what is my motivations and introduction for the topic today about sustainable finance. After that, we go to talk about what is the role of sustainable finance in the climate adaptations, and to try to link between the mitigation option and the climate adaptation strategy, and how the sustainable finance will be the bridge between the climate adaptations and as well the mitigation, and how we can sure every one of us agreed climate adaptation, it is a necessity. It is not an options. And the plus of that as well, we go talk about how the sustainable finance tools will work in order to make sure we have a balance between the triple P, which is the people, the planet, and the prosperity, which we have talked about the social and the environment and the economic. And I will provide as well some of the case study, which is from the global and from India and from MENA region, including UAE as well. As you're already aware about all of these 17 goals, and what I would like to focus here, every goal of this, not only the climate action, which it is goal number 13, but every goal of this, you need money, you need to invest, you need to make sure we have enough fund, mobilizing the fund in order to achieve no poverty, no hunger, and everything as well around all 17. Even the 17 as well goal, which is related to the partnership. We need to make sure we have a triple P, which it is a public-private partnership. We need to work together as a private sector and as well as a public sector to achieve all of these goals. Therefore, when we talk about sustainability, we are not talking only about just only the environment, but we're talking about the social, we talk about the economic, we talk about all of the balance between the all three in order to make sure we have a long-term well-being and stability as well. And this is why I mentioned about there is three types of environmental, which environmental sustainability, social sustainability, and economic sustainability. And every one of these will work with one of the goal or the second goal of that. My actually motivation of that, we all talking about the climate change, but now I am talking about climate emergency, because we moved from climate change to climate crisis, and now we are leading to the climate emergency. There is no way we can avoid the climate emergency. Therefore, we stages now, we start with the climate change and the climate crisis, and now we are in the climate emergency. And the climate adaptation, it is a very important to adjust, not only as the professor mentioned about adjusting ourselves and our behavior, but adjusting the system itself, adjusting the investment approach. We have to make sure we have this mitigation effort, which focus on reducing the greenhouse gas, but adaptation. We make sure we have a commitment, community, business, and economic can be changing the climate as well. Sustainable finance, it is a very important rule to enable the adaptations strategy as well. And the presentation today, we're going to talk about how the sustainable finance installment, including sustainability linked loan, innovation insurance model, and the climate like a green bond and the other stuff as well. Therefore, just only a brief about sustainable finance, it is every investment which integrates the environment and the social and the governments, which is called ESG factor in the financial decision making. Therefore, we are not here talking about only the motivation of the financial motive, but as well we have a social motive, we have an environment motive. And this is why when I was in UK, I was a member of a group, it's called the Social Responsible Investing Group. We are care about investment. We care about give the banking the opportunity to invest, not only to make money, for the investors, not only to make a profit, but as well to have an impact. And this is why coming with the impact investment as well. Therefore, the key principle of sustainable finance, it is environment sustainability, social responsibility, and the governments as well. The type of the tools which we use it as a sustainable finance, we have is called the green finance. We have a sustainable bond and loan finance. We have an impact investment, as I mentioned. We have a climate risk insurance, and we have a blended finance. All of this tool, we have to implement it, and we have to make sure we put it on the climate resilience infrastructures. Every project should have one of these models of the finance. We have to make sure as well the regularity and institutional support for sustainable finance. For example, we have a United Nations Environment Program, which is UNEP Finance Initiative, and we have a task force for the climate-related disclosure, which is called the TCFD as well. And we have as well the network for greening the financial system, which is very important to make sure we have all of this align with the Sustainable Development Goals. Just to get quick here about the linkage between the mitigation and the adaptations. If you found here the climate adaptation strategy, something like resilience infrastructure, like a flood defense, like a green building, a climate smart agriculture, and water security and desalination, and the smart irrigations as well, renewable energy, transition, solar wind, green hydrogen, and different type of color of hydrogen now, and the climate risk insurance and the catastrophic bond as well. This will be the strategy for the climate adaptation, which we use the finance in that. How it support mitigation? Yes, because use low carbon materials, design reducing the greenhouse gas emission, reduce the mechanism as well the methane emissions, and promote sustainable farming and increase the carbon sequestration in the soil. Promote water efficient. And if you found actually most of this strategy, it is aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals like SDG 9, SDG 2, and SDG 6 and 12 and 7 and the 8 and the first one, it is a no poverty. Therefore, the adaptations strategy will work not only with the climate change or the climate emergency or the climate crisis or the climate action, but will work as well with the other as well. Sustainable finance bridging the gap, because sustainable finance ensure the climate adaptation is not just here. It is not a process, but it's a proactive investment. We need to try to make sure we have this as a proactive, something like sustainability linked loan, which I'm talking about later on as well. The embedded climate risk of a financial decision maker. Therefore, we need to make sure the financial institutions, the investors, the institution investors, the individual as well investors, and every financial institutions sector, they have to make sure as well they expand the green finance installment like a sovereign's green bond, which I gave you some example later on as well. And we have to make sure as well we align the private sector investment. It's not only responsible for the government, but as well the private sector, you have to play a role of that. Just I gave you a quick example here, like a climate here, resilient infrastructure. The key strategy here, like a climate smart agriculture, the water security, and while the government have a role to adopting and planning, the private sector again and the financial institution funding mechanism that support the climate resilience. We cannot talk about climate like resilience or climate emergency or climate change or changing or the on the greenhouse gas unless we have the money. We need to have the mechanism to do that. Some of this, like a green bond, a sustainability link loan, and some sustainability link loan as well to do that. Another one is called the ESG driven investment, which include the environment, social, and the government as well. Innovative financial installment, like a catastrophic bond, very important, which it is very important to link it to the climate risk insurance and blend it. This installment demonstrates how finance is a central to ensuring resilience against climate change. How we embedded this? Scenario analysis, like a mandatory climate disclosure. And this why most of the companies now, they have to provide the disclosure about the sustainability and what they are doing in the climate as well as part of that. Regularity support as well, central bank and the financial regularity should as well mandate the integration of the banking stress test, which is very important. Therefore, what I would like to say, embedding the climate risk in financial decision-making ensures the capital flow, adaptation priorities, and safeguarding economic against extreme climate evaluation. Here's the alignment here again about the people, about the plant, about the prosperity, our economic. And this is why we call it a triple P, which it is a triple bottom line. We are not care just only about making money, making a profit as an institutional or as a company, but how the social impact, how the environment impact, and how the government as well play a role. This is like a shared responsibility between the government, the business, the investors must collaborate together in order to make sure we have ensuring that. Just I give you a sample of the case study because I know the time it is not here. The European Union Green Bond. This is very important as well. It is part of the European Union, which integrate the finance as a building climate resilience infrastructures. This is very important because investment in climate smart urban planning, including flood resistant as well, increase funding for drought resistant agriculture, water conservation as well. This is the first example. Second one, World Bank catastrophic bond as well for climate. This is a World Bank issue, this bond as well. Therefore, to give you indication like even the international organization, they are care about the sustainable finance in order to do that. Another one as well, international financial cooperation, IFC, very important. They across Kenya and Nigeria and Ethiopia as well. They try to provide as well a loan to make sure we have sustainable irrigation system as well. And this increases the climate smart farming techniques, improves the water use efficiency, and over 500 million investments supporting a smallholder farmer. And this is very important to make sure we supporting as well that. In UAE, we have here in UAE a green sukuk. Sukuk like a bond, but according to the Islamic sustainable bond, because it is based on the sharing the profit and loss, but not sharing the interest. And this is very important as well, as it's called the Sharia compliant green bond as well. Therefore, it's everything. Not only that, the issue now the golden visa for the blue economy. For the people working in the sustainability, they will give them a 10 years for the sustainability as well. Saudi Arabia as well, it's the same as already the big fund here. It's called the Public Investment Fund, PIF, as well, the providing investment. What I'm trying to say here, this is like a global. You can see Europe, you can see America, you can see Saudi Arabia and the MENA region and India. India as well, they have a mechanism, it's called climate resilience bond, which is very important, this to support the flood resistant, like the extreme monsoons, like I think Mumbai and Shelly as well. Therefore, this impact on 1.5 billion raised for a flood defense system. Look, this is how the sustainable finance play a role in order to build the flood defense system and the storm water drainage as well. Investment in early warning system, and this is very important. It is not, don't wait until the disaster happens and try to take action as a reactive, but try to be reactive and earn of that. China as well, I'm not going through all of this, but in China, they have as well a green loan as well. Indonesia, they have as called the green sukuk as a Islamic as well. Morocco, they have a green blended finance as well. And Egypt as well, they have it's called the sovereign green bond for a climate adaptation as well, which impacted by 35% of the bond of that. What I'm trying to say here, the climate emergency has made adaptation an unavoidable priority, while mitigation remain crucial. But adaptation ensures that society, business, economics can withstand climate shock. Sustainable finance is a central rule, mobilizing the capital toward resilience focused project as well. Financial institutions, investors, and the policymaker, and this way we can see here the government as a policymaker as well. Investors, institutional investors, individual investors, and all of this financial institution as well, they have a play of that. Investment is a resilience, is no longer a choice. Investment is a resilience, as no longer a choice. It is a necessity. And the longer whether we can afford adaptation financing, but whether consequent of inaction of that. The takeaway of this session today, the global trend between the European Union, the World Bank, UAE, Saudi Arabia, India, sustainable finance is not just an investment strategy, but it is a necessity to make sure we have a protect our community, protect our family, protect our people, and build a climate resilient futures. And this is the reference which I use it during my presentation. And this as well, if somebody need to contact with me, I have here the right one. It is the WhatsApp a code, and as well my LinkedIn if somebody would like to get connected with me as well. I'm very happy and I'm very delighted if somebody have any questions and would like to make sure they add some value today about finance. As if you remember, the COP29, it was the COP of finance. It's called the COP of finance because without finance, without money, without investment, we cannot achieve any one of the 17 goals. And we need to make sure we have fund enough to adapt and to resilience all our future, whether it is a social or economics or environment as well. Therefore, I would like to thank everyone and thank all of you for listening. And please, if you have any query or any questions, I am here to happy to answer it. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. That was a wonderful start and it was really mind-blowing. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thanks for joining us. Joining us a COP of Finance for this G20 International One Planet Cabinet. Thank you, Professor. That was wonderful. And the insights that you shared, if you allow me to just summarize it on the whole, talking about the finance, the first is the target that you mentioned, at least $300 billion annually should be developed by the developing countries as the climatic action of 2025. Thank you. That's a key takeaway for today. Hope everybody will agree with us. And when it as you rightly mentioned, the climatic finance refers to the local, national, and the transnational financing, which are drawn from the public, private, and alternative sources of financing, and that seeks to support the mitigation and adaptation actions that will address the climatic change. And so we are all NGOs who are working together for the three pillars of the climatic finance, including mitigation, adaptation, loss, and damage. Thank you so much. Thanks for that beautiful mention over there. And the climatic function, finance is just a subset of green finance. Thanks for making it very clear over here, as it refers primarily to the public finance and where it developed in the countries, providing the financing to the various variety of sources that promotes the multilateral effects that combat the climatic change. Thank you. That was a wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. I've got one more person who is with me from Amity University, Dr. Vinod Shukla ji. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. Would you like to add some more there? Thank you.
Just one thing, Professor Adil is always full of energy. The moment he sees sustainability, the moment he sees about something sustainable finance, he is the right person. He is my senior. We always take some insight from him. I'm thankful to Dr. Srividya for providing a platform. I'm thankful to Professor Adil for giving his time. Professor Srividya, as your opening statement, you have used the word green economy. I think It was the right connection what Professor Adil has connected here. And to this forum, I would like to inform Professor Dr. Sri Vidya has been featured into the Voice of UAE. And you all must see that particular link. And I will not take permission. Without your permission, I will share the link of Voice of UAE here. Everybody, I will request, please go through the link and see the contribution of Dr. Sri Vidya. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thanks for the mention. Thank you, Professor. It is always a pleasure having you all on this platform. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Professor. And it's a message. There's a message from Dr. Esther Mala from Malaysia for Dr. Professor. That was a very insightful and detailed presentation. Thank you, Professor. And we can always connect with them on LinkedIn. Please, as this platform open for collaboration, please connect, collaborate, and start working together. Thank you. Thank you so much. Over to Dr. Tanuja.
Yes, ma'am. Now I invite our speaker, Dr. S. Janet Bibi from Crescent College. She is in specialization in electrical and engineering, in automatic generation control, in deregulated environments, and she is passionate about the teaching and global collaboration. She maintains a high professional ethics and organizational excellence. So with this, she is going to address on the topic understanding of global warming of 1.5 degrees Celsius. Welcome, ma'am. Please.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the introduction. And I'm really happy to be a part of this movement, I would say. So many important people have joined to address this because the human beings, they are not aware of what is happening around us. So I think it's a very good initiative and very good movement to spread awareness. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss about it. Slowly, I think the world also will move in that direction. Let me share my PPT.
Our sincere thanks to you, ma'am. In spite of Ramadan, you have just made your presence here. Thank you so much. It's already time for breaking your fast. Please, thank you so much with due respect and sincerity. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I'll share my PPT. Is my screen visible?
It's loading, ma'am. It's loading. I think it's going to be visible now. Yes, it is visible. You can go on slideshow mode.
Yes.
Yes, now it is clearly visible. Please go on.
Yes. Yeah, good evening, everyone. I hope, I'm audible. My voice is also audible. Yes,
ma'am.
Okay. So good evening, everyone who is listening to this conclave. Today, I'll be talking about a critical issue facing our planet, climate change. Specifically, we'll explore the importance of limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius and why this target is essential to avoid catastrophic impacts. So let's go into the topic. I hope my slides are moving. So the climate change, so what is climate change? So climate change refers to long-term shifts, right, in global weather patterns, we all know. So why it happens? It is primarily driven by human activities, mainly burning fossil fuels. And this has led to global warming, a rise in Earth's average temperature due to increased greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. So we have to take a very good, greater importance. We have to give greater importance to the human activities. So what is this 1.5 degree Celsius global warming? So the 1.5 degrees Celsius target refers to limiting global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. This target was set by the Paris Agreement in the year 2015 to avoid the worst impacts of climate change. However, we are already at 1.1 degrees Celsius of warming and time is running out. So we have to take really corrective action. So why this 1.5 degree is so important is even a small increase in temperature, it has significant consequences. Right? Staying below 1.5 degrees Celsius help us avoid irreversible damage to ecosystems, extreme weather events, and threats to food and water security. So what are the current trends in global warming? So global temperatures have already, they have risen about 1.1 degrees Celsius since the late 19th century. The last decade was the warmest on record, and carbon dioxide CO2 levels are now higher than they have been in 2 million years. So the trend is very clear. Warming is accelerating. It is increasing. So what are the impacts? We all know, but still how bad the impact is and how accelerating. What is the rate of the increase? So at 1.5 degrees Celsius, we'll see more frequent and intense heat waves, rising sea levels, threatening coastal communities and extreme weather events like flood or droughts or these things already it has been there. We are visualizing it, we are experiencing it in many parts of the world. And these impacts will disrupt the ecosystems and, of course, human societies as well. So now, when we compare the 1.5 degree versus 2 degree, right? So the difference between 1.5 degrees Celsius and 2 degree, we may think it is only 0.5, but still it is very significant. It is stark. It is stark. At 2 degrees Celsius, twice as many people would face water scarcity. The coral reefs would nearly disappear, and the risks of sea level that would be far greater, sea level rise. Right? So every fraction of a degree matters. So that's why this particular value is given so much importance, and it is of today's topic. So limiting the warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius that could save 10 million people from sea level rise risks. And global warming is driven by greenhouse gases, right? There's emissions from human activities. There is burning fossil fuels for energy, deforestation, and industrial processes are the primary sources of these emissions. So trapping heat in the atmosphere. So that's very alarming, right? Next, coming to the role of human activities, right? So what are the human activities that lead to this? Like burning coal, oil, and gas for energy, especially electrical sector, then automotives, agriculture, and waste management are the main drivers of global warming. For example, cows produce methane during digestion, a potent greenhouse gas that contributes significantly to warming. Then what are the pathways to limit this warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius? So to limit warming, we must rapidly cut emissions. This means we have to change to renewable energy. The transition to renewable energy is the main thing. We should all go. Already the world is moving towards that. Again, to improve energy efficiency and adopting sustainable practices like reforestation and sustainable agriculture, like going into solar, wind, biomass, right? Then net zero buildings, we could think about it. Then what are the challenges in achieving 1.5 degrees Celsius? So there are challenges like political barriers will be there, economic barriers. So achieving this 1.5 degrees Celsius is not easy actually. Challenges will come from political and economic side, the dependence on fossil fuels and global inequality in resources and technology expected. So overcoming these requires global cooperation and innovation. So when we talk about political barriers, climate action requires strong political will and international cooperation. In some governments, they prioritize short-term economic growth rather than long-term climate goals. Then political disagreements and lack of consensus can delay or weaken climate politics. Then economic side, transitioning to a low-carbon economy, it requires significant investment in renewable energy, then infrastructure and technology. So they have to move in that direction. Then fossil fuel industries are deeply entrenched and resist changes that threaten their profits. Then developing countries may lack the financial resources to invest in clean energy and adaptation measures. Therefore, as Professor Adel pointed out, the finance part comes into picture where the developing countries should think about it. Then coming to technological barriers, while renewable energy technologies like solar and wind, they have advanced, they still face challenges like energy storage, grid integration. Then some industries such as aviation and shipping, they lack viable low carbon alternatives. Then there is CCS, the carbon capture and storage technologies are not yet widely deployed and they're not that much cost effective. Coming from social and equity side, climate policies can disproportionately affect low-income communities, leading to social resistance. So we have to make sure that it happens. Ensuring a just transition for workers in fossil fuel industries is a major challenge. Then global inequality means that developing countries, they often bear the brunt of climate impacts, but have fewer resources to adapt. So the developed countries or those who are practicing must help the developing countries. Then coming to the solutions, right? So the good news is that the solutions exist. The carbon pricing, renewable energy adoption, reforestation, and sustainable farming, it can significantly reduce emissions, right? So these strategies are key to staying below 1.5 degrees Celsius. So carbon pricing is a policy tool that puts a price on carbon emissions to encourage businesses and individuals to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions. So how it works? By making polluters pay for the carbon they emit. More they emit, the more tax they pay. So that it creates a financial incentive to switch to cleaner alternatives. The carbon tax, a direct tax on the carbon content of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas. Then companies pay a fixed fee for every ton of CO2 they emit. We can have this kind of thing. So, for example, a government sets a tax of, let's say, $50 per ton of CO2 emitted. Correct me if my numbers are wrong. Then emissions, a trading system or a cap and trade. The government sets a cap on total emissions allowed in a specific sector or economy. Companies receive or buy emission allowances. It permits to emit a certain amount of CO2 only. Then if a company emits less than its allowance, it can sell the extra permits to others. If it emits more, it must buy additional permits. For example, the European Union emissions trading system, which does this allowance. So these are some solutions and mitigation strategies so that we stay below 1.5 degree, not reaching 2 degrees Celsius. So when it comes to individuals, we each and every one is responsible, like as Dr. Srividya pointed out in the beginning. While governments and businesses play a major role, individuals can also make a difference, reducing energy use, adopting sustainable diets, and supporting climate-friendly policies are ways we can all contribute. Right. So I just put these pictures so that you can use reusable bags. You can take your own bags when you go to shop. Then instead of using cars and other fossil fuel driven technologies, you can use bicycles or you can use the public transport system so that this can be reduced. So the time to act is now. Limiting warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius requires urgent and collective action from governments, businesses, and individuals. The future of our planet depends on the choices we make today. So we must all act together so that we don't escalate to 2 degrees. So in conclusion, I would say 1.5 degrees Celsius is a critical threshold to avoid the worst impacts of climate change. So by cutting emissions and adopting sustainable practices, we can secure a livable future for generations to come. So thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, I will take. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. It's a very nice session. So you are started with how the sea level is increasing nowadays with 1.5 degrees Celsius climate change. And also you have covered the topic of pollutions, which is emitting from the industries and which is very health hazardous to the human beings, as well as it is going to destroy the planet and we have to save this planet. And you also elaborated on how to create a pathway to limit this type of emissions, like transition of renewable energy from fossil fuels so that we can reduce the carbon emissions. And also you have mentioned the challenges and achievements which are going to be a big challenge when we are transiting from fossil fuel to renewable energy. So it's a nice presentation, ma'am. And also you have covered the solution for green policies, like alternative of electric vehicles. And also the major thing what you said is the individual person, when we are going for shopping, we have to use their own bags, as well as avoiding the vehicles, fossil fuel vehicles, and using the bicycle, it is a very good point. So the younger generation, if it is follows, then we can able to reduce the carbon emission as much as possible. The individual contribution will be a great part in this, ma'am. A very nice presentation, ma'am. So any other to elaborate?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so
Thank
much. And
Thank you.
thanks, our sincere
next-
thanks to each and every one of you, because we are not going according to the schedule. This is in accommodation of the necessity which is there, that they are going to break their fast. They have been fasting right from the morning. So we wanted to call them in the front, and so that they finish and they can break the fast. Thank you so much. With
Yes,
due
our
respect,
next,
with
our next,
everybody's concurrence, we are moving ahead in the same order now. Thank you. Over to Benjamin.
yeah, yeah. Yes, our next speaker, invite Kiplangat Nechitik from Purity Championships, Kenya, Biodiversity and Inclusion Champion. The Purity Championship is a Kinder Revolution platform focusing towards peace, unity, social and economic empowerment through several strategies, that is advocacy and campaigns, mentorships and psychologist support, community outreaches and sensitizations, networking, educational insights. The title is going to present on the projected climate change, potential impacts and associated. Welcome, please. So, it's not here. Shall we move?
Yeah,
Kiplangat.
Mr. Kipangat, he was there. He had joined actually. Mr. Kipangat, maybe because of, yeah, we'll move ahead with Dr. Vishnu Padabos. If he's going to join, then we'll come back to you. Sure. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. So I invite Dr. Vishnu Padapuri.
Yes.
Vishnu Padabos is also representing GSFL. Thank you.
Yes.
Dr. Tanuja will welcome Dr. Vishnu Padabos.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I invite Dr. Vishnu Padapos to address on understanding of global warming of 1.5 degrees Celsius. And Dr. Bose is an impressive academic journey, includes a PhD from prestigious Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, India, and MTech in Geotechnological Engineering from National Institute of Technology, Rourkela. And Doctor is leading the department at Shanka Education Trust Group of Education, Chayabasa Engineering College, and head of the research at Swami Vivekananda University, India. So welcome you, sir.
Yes, very good evening, Dr. Srividya, respected members of this platform, respected dignitaries, presenters, speakers. Thank you so much. My name is Dr. Vishnu Bose. This is my topic, understanding of global warming 1.5 degrees Celsius. So significance of 1.5 degree in Paris Agreement. This is common term. The Paris Agreement in an international treaty with the goal of
Sir, your screen is visible. You can go ahead. You're in the exact page. Significance of 1.5 degree in Paris Agreement.
But I'm not seeing this page.
But this is what we are saying. You're in the page of Paris Agreement. We are able to see the agreement in process. I mean, which you have projected there. The Paris Agreement is an international treaty with the goal of holding the increase of global average temperature.
This is correct, but I'm not seeing this page.
But this is what we are seeing. You can go ahead, Dr. Vishnu Padabos. If you want, you can start from the beginning.
I'm beginning.
Yeah.
It's right?
Loading. It's loading. You're quite audible. Yes.
It's my presentation is showing over there.
Significance of 1.5 degree in Paris Agreement. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. The Paris Agreement is an international treaty with the goal of holding the increase in the global temperatures to well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial level, and pursuing effort to limit the temperature increase in 1.5 degree above pre-industrial level by 2100. This is the main key picture of Paris agreements. So this is the projections in future and present also. So we should have in these positions, we should be maintain this line, limit the global warming as much as possible, not limit the global warming as soon as possible. This is the scenario. Actually, this is the threshold point 1.5 degrees Celsius. So this is the something why 1.5 degrees Celsius. Actually, there is nothing miracle or magical about the number of 1.5 degree, other than that in agreed aspirational target and based on the research outcome. Keeping 1.4 is better than 1.5 and 1.3 is better than 1.4 and so on. So the science does not tell us that if, for example, the temperature increase in 1.51 degrees Celsius, then it would definitely be the end of the world. Similarly, if the temperature would stay at 1.49 degree increase, it does not mean that we will eliminate all impact of climate change. So we can say that the lower the target for the increase in temperature, the lower the risk of climate impact. To keep global warming not more than 1.5 degrees Celsius as called for the Paris Agreement, emission needs to be reduced 45% by 2030 and reach net zero by 2050. How close we are to 1.5 degrees Celsius? World Meteorological Organization predict that for each of the next 4 years, the global average temperature is likely to swing 1.1 to 1.8 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial level. Human-induced warming has already reached about 1 degree above pre-industrial level by the decades of 2006 to 2015. Human activities had warmed the world by 0.87 degrees Celsius compared to pre-industrial level in this period, 1850 to 1900. If the current warming rate continues, the world would reach human-induced global warming of 1.5 degrees Celsius around 2040. .5 degree world many of the deadliest effects of climate change are reduced. Sea level rise is expected to be around 10 cm lower at 1.5 degree compared to 2 degrees Celsius. However, irreversible melting of ice sheet on Greenland and Antarctica could be triggered between 1.5 degrees Celsius to 2 degrees Celsius. Now, key point about why 1.5 degrees Celsius considered more critical than 2 degrees Celsius. Increased severity of impact, threat to ecosystems, sea level rise, vulnerable populations, etc. This is the main issues. So this is the comparison 1.5 degree versus 2 degree global warming. This is I collect from research papers. In 1.5 degrees Celsius, 6% of insect, 8% of plant, and 4% vertebrate will be affected. Whereas 2 degrees Celsius, 18% of insect, 16% of plant, and 8% of vertebrate will be affected. So sea level rise, which seems that in 2 degree, higher than it's 10 cm higher than 2 degrees Celsius than at 1.5 degrees Celsius in 2001 2 into 1000. This difference would expose to up to the 10 millions more people to risk coral bleaching, At 1.5 degrees Celsius, 70% of the world coral reefs are lost by 2050, and virtually all coral reefs are lost by 2050 with 2 degrees Celsius. Action identified to keep global average temperature below 1.5 degree threshold. Significant and rapid reduction in methane emissions, halting deforestation and beginning reforestation, decarbonizing the power sector and accelerating the phase out of coal. That is the main point. Accelerating the electrification of road transport, accelerating supply, decarbonization in building, heavy industries and heavy transport, reinvigorating energy and resource efficiency. Carbon budget actually want to make key issues in this aspect. So this is the small definition. A carbon budget refers to the total amount of carbon dioxide that can be emitted in the atmosphere before global temperature raise by specific amount. Here we consider 1.5 degrees Celsius, and in the context of 1.5, it represents the maximum amount of carbon emission allowed to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, essentially a critical threshold beyond which severe the climate impact are expected to become significantly more frequent and intense. Meaning the smaller the carbon budget, closer we are exceeding the 1.5 degree limit. So we have considered high carbon budget, low carbon budget we are using in this aspect. So high carbon budget refers to a larger allowable amount of carbon emissions before reaching a certain temperature threshold, meaning a country or region can emit more greenhouse gases before experiencing significant climate change impact. Whereas low carbon budget indicates a smaller permitted amount of emissions, requiring stricter emissions reduction measure to stay within desired temperature limit. So global carbon budget. So we have the Paris Agreement actually considered 2 degrees Celsius, but we are pursuing 1.5 degrees Celsius. So what is the difference of 0.5 degrees Celsius that earlier speaker has mentioned? However, main things is ever here. In 0.5 degrees Celsius, difference makes significant effect. That is 1.7 billion more people will be exposed to severe heat and waves every 5 years. 100 to 400 millions more people will be at risk of hunger. 1 to 2 billion more people will no longer have adequate water. This is the effect of 0.5 degrees Celsius. Yes, madam.
Please, sir. Yeah, you
Yes.
can go ahead, sir.
Yes. So this is the collect from the research paper, Global Carbon Budget. So this is the projected, estimated, all are ever here. Global carbon budget, 340 to 400 gigaton carbon dioxide. That is equal to 67% chance or better of meeting 1.5 degrees Celsius target. So graphical representation over there. We can achieve 50 to 65% reduction by 2030 and 0 by 2040. If we cannot achieve this figure, then 6,000 gigaton of carbon by 2050. So this is the one projected scenario of carbon budget. Slides are not moving.
You can
Yes,
click
yes,
on the
yes.
screen, sir.
Yes, Majid.
Yeah.
The challenges, this is the one common thing that country-wise breakdown of global carbon emission. I am not going to these details. The challenges of reducing global carbon emission required a multifaceted approach, mainly role of top emitters, that is China, India, and United States. Developing countries also mentioned over here. Specific action for emission reduction, invest in renewable energy, put a price on carbon, improve energy efficiency, support research and development, that is main issues, reduce deforestation, and leadership and assistance, lead by the example. Many things is there. Financial aspect also mentioned over here. United Nations Energy UNEP 2024 report has mentioned something about this 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold point. Greenhouse gas cuts of 42% are needed by 2030 and 57% by 2035 to get on track for 1.5 degrees Celsius. It remains technically possible to get on a 1.5 degree pathway with solar, wind, and forest holding real promises for sweeping and fast emission cut. How much of the carbon budget is left? That is also mentioned in the report. The remaining global carbon budget for a 50% chance of limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius is estimated to be 230 billion metric ton of carbon dioxide, that is 235 gigaton of carbon dioxide from the beginning of 2025 from this year. At the current rate of global carbon dioxide emission, the budget would be used up in the approximately 6 years. Carbon budget IPCC assessment report also mentions something important issues. The remaining carbon budget for 50% likelihood of limiting warming to 1.5 degree was estimated in IPCC assessment report 6 to be 500 gigaton of carbon dioxide from starting of 2020. That is 4 years also we have passed. The updated assessment has reduced the budget 200 gigaton carbon dioxide from the starting of 2024. That is running. Various factors in the updated cost that budget to be reduced by more than 160 gigaton of carbon dioxide emission in those 4 years. Some of the adaptation need to get on track 1.5 degree warming, economy, ecosystem restoration and avoided deforestation, efficient irrigation, coastal defense and hardening, green infrastructure in urban environment, risk spreading and sharing, and disaster risk management. So final conclusion is that limiting warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius require dramatic emission reduction by 2030 and carbon neutrality by 2050. This would entail unprecedented transformation of energy, land, urban and industrial system, including measures to achieve negative emission by removing carbon from the atmosphere. Adaptation efforts are currently insufficient to prevent losses associated with 1.5 degrees Celsius warming, but can be significantly increased to reduce the negative consequence of the climate change. So this is the required global effort to achieve the goal of target has been mentioned in the Paris Agreement. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Doctor. That, as we know that when it is Dr. Bishnupada Bose, it's going to be just full of statistical data and information. And every time, it's not that for once, or it's not that for twice, it's every time that we have seen you. It was quite comprehensive, quite informative, quite insightful, and quite knowledgeable. And it was full of data, as I tell you. As you rightly mentioned, please, Tanuja ma'am, allow me to just brief it in a very short few inputs that we are going to take away today. As Dr. Bishnupada Bose was mentioning, global warming is a long-term heading for Earth's surface, being observed since very pre-industrial period, I would say, over centuries. But why is it happening? It's all because of human activities. We have to take the responsibility of that. Primarily, the fossil fuel burning is the main thing which is contributing to it, which has increased the heat-trapping greenhouse levels to the Earth's atmosphere. So definitely, if you ask me if this is a term that is going to be interchangeable with the term of climate change, no, not. It's a signal from the climate change system that the time is running out. And if we are able to reduce these emissions, we know that where are the factors, what are the contributing factors, what are things which are contributing to the alarming threat that we're talking about. So is it inevitable? Is it inevitable? Can we reduce this emission fast to hold the warming below 2 degrees centigrade, below to 1.5 degree by 2100? Is it going to be done? So the question is still remains a question mark, as there is always an increase in the global average temperature above the pre-industrial levels. So this is what we are, and it's a fact that we need to accept on this platform. And I'm sure all our eminent speakers today who have joined us on this platform have more and more contributions for this. Thank you so much, Dr. Bishnupada Bose, with all global statistical data taken from every single possible means that you have taken. Really, that was quite insightful, very, very informative. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Working with you and having you on board with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Over to Dr. Tanuja to welcome the next speaker. Thank
Yes.
you.
So now moving ahead to pointer 2, Dr. N. Vishnu Chakravarti is going to address on projected climate change potential impacts and associated. He's a professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering at Sri Ishwar College of Engineering, and is an IIC Innovation Ambassador, IIC Convener, and EDC Innovation Coordinator, certified entrepreneurship trainer associated with many medical projects and aerospace products. So I invite you, sir, please.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Vishnu. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure having you here. With due respect to you. Thank you. Your screen is loading and it's going to be visible, I think. Thank you. It's visible. You can go on to the slideshow mode.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it is quite visible. Please go ahead. Thank you, sir.
So, my topic is on climate adaptation, and we are going to see about projected climate change, potential impacts, and associated risks. As the previous person explained in detail, what will be the projected climate change, and as per the statistics, by the year 2025, the climatic change, the temperature will be going to rise above 5.5 degrees Celsius, and meanwhile, it's going to change from region to region and country to country. As per the global temperature CAT warning projections, by 2100, we are going to reach the maximum temperature maybe above 4 degrees Celsius. So we need to take the preventive measures, how we are going to help the society, to the human, animals, species in the world, so that we need to take preventive actions. We should start from our each and every individual, so that the government will also make the policies, and action should be taken from all the countries and the persons who are we need to start that in advance, so that others also can come and join. And as of now, we are between 1.5 degrees Celsius, but we may reach up to 4 degree. And as per NDC targets, by 2030, we are going to submit a big target for all the governments and the individuals, how we are going to change the scenario, and what are all the steps you are going to use, and how we are going to change the environment, and how we are going to change the scenario is all in the process. And there was a adoption cycle where we need to plan how we are going to change the changes, how we are going to give the importance to the individuals, and to make aware, and how it will impact to the society, and how the vulnerability will be, all these to be clearly categorized, and as per the plan, we need to fix our goals, and we need to identify a number of strategies, and we need to plan, so that we can implement the actions. And based on the actions, we need to continuously develop and monitor. We need to give our best, so that we can save our environment at the best level. And in many areas, we need to adjust, because now itself that the climate was entirely changing, the temperature was increasing in respect of the geographical area. Next, due to this, the temperature is also rising, the sea levels also it was changing, and perception from person to person, country to country is also changing. This will affect the human health. This also leads to storm, flood, overheating of the earth, and air pollution is also going to happen. Food supply, it also affect the agricultural area, and the civil conflict also might happen. So this will lead to we see the climate change it was connected to every part, so that it also connecting to all the a number of SDG goals as well, and it also affect the basic life of the human and the species in the world. So it also affect the health of the individual. It's also going to affect the agricultural area. Now we are destroying the forest, and the water quality is also going down. The coastal areas also is differing in India, in many in Tamil Nadu exclusively in particular area. The coastal guards are going out, and the areas are going in out. This is happening in most of the countries. Due to the this, we need to try to contribute more to the society, so that we can able to give our best to the next generation. So in terms of health risk, we are going to face a number of problems in terms of geography, demography, health sectors. Also, we are going to get some issues in so economic side, and it's also going to affect the people, infrastructure, energy, water, and food. It goes on. So we need to concentrate more, and exclusively, if we concentrate on the health part, we are going to get injuries more due to the air pollution and the temperature changes. Respiratory problems are occurring, and a number of diseases are also occurring in our body, and the mental and physiological challenges is also there to the people. So we need to give more importance to our health as well as the human and the species in the world. So we need to give more importance to the risk factor, and this who is going to affect the this type of risk first will be the it is going to affect the poverty. So the first risk factors which was affected by the women category, children, and the elderly people who will be affected because of less protein level and other things. They are going to get affected first. So and the persons who are going to work outside, they are going to be in the sun for long duration of time during their work. They are also going to be affected. So the children's, they don't know what it is, and they are also going to get affected. So we need to give more concentration in all the areas. In one way, the towns are the population is growing, the deforestation is also happening, a number of minerals, the climate deforestation is happening, the minerals are taken out, and the temperature is going at a faster rate. So we need to give more importance to overcome these type of issues. Based on this climate change, the drinking water facilities also, we are lagging in most of the states and countries, and due to the heat, a number of human losses are happening, and we are not able to get the valued resources at a right time, at a high quality. So the industrial sector is also is affecting. So we need to concentrate more to reduce the to enhance the climate, so that we can able to give the good society to the future. As per the statistics, nearly 132 billion people are going to be in extreme poverty due to climate change, and in that 44 million people are going to get affected due to the climate health risks and vulnerability. So we need to give our best, so that the world, we can give the best world to the next generation. So this is my contact details. If anyone want to join, join. Thanks for the opportunity from the team. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vishnu. Thank you so much. And that was a wonderful presentation indeed. and quite insightful. It had all the information which are related to the climatic change. Thank you so much. May we request Dr. Anjum Qureshi now to summarize Dr. Vishnu's presentation? Dr. Anjum
Yeah.
Qureshi. Thank you.
Yes, I'm here. Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Vishnu. It was really a very insightful presentation. And of course, as you were talking about the climate change, so sometimes we just mistaken it as, okay, it's the climatic conditions are changing. But your presentation was really very great and very insightful, and I can also see the messages that are coming in. And the key takeaways that I can see is how it is going to affect our people. It will pose a significant threats on the human health, including even increased risks of diseases related infectious diseases, disruptions to food and water security, leading to malnutrition and other health problems. And obviously, as you said, a greater population on the earth will be pushed to extreme poverty, because this is something which we never think of. We only think of how the climatic changes is going to affect our life, but we never think of these steps if we do not, understand the climate change, and we do not take steps over it, and we stop ourselves from taking action, though we know about it. A large number of people will be pushed to extreme poverty. That was a very good takeaway from your presentation. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Ma'am, please unmute yourself. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So thank you, Dr. Vishnu. That was, well, as you rightly agreed, as we all agree, the loss of sea ice, melting glaciers, and ice sheets, sea rise level, and more intense heat waves. These are the factors that are going to be discussed, that are going to be declared as the major threats. What about warmer atmosphere, a warmer and more acidic ocean, the higher sea levels, and the larger changes in the precipitation patterns? To know more about that, I recommend that Dr. Tanuja to welcome the next speaker on board. Thank you so much. Over to Dr. Tanuja. Thank you.
We invite Dr. M. Mazila Venu to address on the pointer 2 projected climate potential impacts and associated again. So Dr. M. Mazila Venu graduated in electrical and electronic engineering in 1988 from Government College of Engineering, Tirunelveli, and is a specialization of electrical drives and control. He is teaching profession for the past 24 years. Currently, he is working in Dean and Research and Professor of Triple Department in St. Xavier's Catholic College of Engineering, Nagarkoil, Tamil Nadu, and his area of interest is research interest, application of artificial intelligence, techniques to electrical drives and power system. And I welcome to address on the pointer number 2, projected climate change, potential impacts and associated. Welcome, ma'am. Please.
Good evening, all. Yeah, my voice is audible.
Yeah, good evening, sir, and a warm welcome to you. It's quite
Okay,
audible, and maybe if you start your presentation, we'll be able to tell you exactly where we are.
Yeah, whether presentation is viewed.
It is loading now. Yes, it's quite visible.
Okay. So thank you so much to all the participants in this G20 International One Planet Cabinet, all the motivation people, all the experts, researchers. So the previous speakers covered most of my points, the impacts and projected climate change. So I just give an outline only. So all the speakers covered the causes of climate change, natural causes and due to human causes. Natural causes, we all know, volcanic eruptions, ocean currents, earth orbital changes. That means more tilt means very warm summer and colder winter. Less tilt means very cool summer and mild winters. Again, solar variation. These are naturally occurs. But human causes are the terrible effect. Mainly the first one, greenhouse effect. So greenhouse gases due to our industrialization, automobile and all the human activities. This carbon dioxide emission is more, 76% now. Again, it is increasing. Other factors by human deforestation, coal mining, industrial process, agriculture, and so burning of fossil fuels, like many things are reasons. I would like to suggest these 10 are the heavy problems projected due to the climate change. Rise in sea level, that all the speakers clearly explained the level, melting of glaciers and permafrost, heavy rainfall or flood across the globe, extreme drought, water shortage in groundwater level, temperatures of large lakes are warming and wildfires, decline in crop productivity, so production of agriculture is going down, change in the ecosystem, not only human being, animal being, all are disturbing, huge hurricanes, cyclones, the sea water is become more acidic, rise in temperature. So normally the energy imbalance is occurred due to the climate change. During 1971 to 2018, almost 89% of heat absorbed by the ocean, 6% warmed by land, 4% for melting ice, and 1% for warming atmosphere. Now this ratio is changing. After again 19, 20, 23, every year this increasing 1.5 degree. Here another fact researchers are giving: increment of the heat on Earth, the Earth energy imbalance, EEI. If it is zero, it's well and good. All the heat received by Earth will be transferred. Otherwise, the heat is available in the atmosphere. Now, in the year 3-4 years back, 1.52 watt per meter square is a EEI value. That also equal to 1 million Hiroshima size atomic bomb heat that every day it is observing or the feeling. But recently it is again increased to 1.64. So it should be 0 watt per meter square. Then it is cool. The Earth should be cool. But every year it is increasing. The last 20 years, because of global warming, it is triple the time. So that everything disturbed. The natural water cycle, that means the rainwater condensation, that it comes through underground, through soil, then taking evaporation. The cycle is now disturbed. That's why heavy rain or low rain. So I just want to compare just 2030 and 2050, the projected expected climate change affection. First one, the temperature rise. So global temperature rise in the year 2030 onwards, 1.5 degree above, that all the speakers covered. 2050, it may be 2 to 2.7 degree. So that much temperature rises. Extreme weather patterns. Second one is extreme weather pattern and natural disaster. So in the year 2030, we expect more heat waves, cyclones, droughts. So here the pictures, somewhere no water, somewhere heavy water, the flood, rainfall. In 2050, we can expect 4 or 5 hurricanes. Tropical and polar regions affected by unpredictable climate. This is a weather pattern. Again, food security and agriculture are completely disruption. 2030, we can expect wheat, maize, rice, all drop up to 5 to 10% because of temperature rise and water change, water stress in farmlands. 2050, this level again increase double, 15 to 30% reduction. So that global food shortage, price inflation, or malnutrition, all the impact will be there. Biodiversity loss and ecosystem collapse. By the way, the climate change effect in the year 2030, so coral reefs face 90% annual bleaching and 10 to 50% spices due to habitat loss. 2050, this may be 30 to 40%, like Amazon rainforest degradation. So all the things, biodiversity is entirely going to change. Again, public health risk. So a lot of new diseases. In that 2030, increased vector-borne diseases, malaria, dengue, like will again more deaths due to heat and related respiratory illness. 2050, we can expect double, triple the amount the mental health disaster because of heat, mental health disorder, and climate displacement will be there. And economic consequence due to and climate migration, people or animals will migrate. 2030, $2 trillion annual loss, economic loss because of disasters. And climate migration may expected 50 to 100 million people to relocate. In the way 2050, almost 1 billion climate refugees, global GDP 10 to 20% shrink. So more migration in general, so potential impact and associated risk. The environment risk, that is the wildfire, glacier melt, because of that biodiversity and the earth ecosystem collapse. Economic risk, so due to damaging infrastructure and higher energy cost, it affects, increased instability, economic instability. Health risk, so more disease outbreaks or air quality in the potential. That associated risk is rising healthcare. Like social risk, water and food shortages. So associated risk is resource conflict, instability. Again, agriculture risk, so that crop failure, soil degradation. The associated risk is food price inflation and malnutrition. So a lot of mitigation adaptation techniques, many people covered, like renewable energy transition, carbon capture technology, sustainable transport, so that the greenhouse gas emission may be reduced. Other measures, climate resilient infrastructures, water conservation, early warning systems. Among the all now immediate needed climate campaign, so that each and every individual, all the people in the world can contribute. So I will give some campaign posters. Protect the forest. There are the climatic umbrella of our planet. These are umbrellas. So protect the forest and the tree plantation, and the industries. Every leaf traps CO2. So more industry means more number of plantation. Plant for the planet. Think before you drink. So the bottles, plastics usage. So these are our animals, fishes are eating. Again, we are eating fish. It's coming back to us. We are living on one planet, no another planet to that. So reduce, reuse, recycle, rethinking. This again, all the here pollution, education, solution. You is missing. So you can do everything. Pollution is because of you. Education, we need education. You solution also with you only. All the people. So there is no climate change. We need politician and people change. Plant a tree with us, like end global warming. Our earth is in our hands. Mother Nature is crying. Protect the planet for profit. It's our only home. Save it. There is no planet B. Save Earth. Like we have to pledge, save Earth, save planet, save energy, and save water. With that energy combined, we can make huge difference, and we can stop climate change effect. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. To be very frank, I was very impressed with the concluding part of it. There were beautiful flyers, and you is missing, and it all starts with you. That was a very good mention. That is the keynote that we are taking from you today. On that note, may we request Dr. Anjum Qureshi to summarize Mr. Bunny.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So it was really a very impressive presentation. As you were talking about the climate change, yes, of course, increasing the heat on the earth. It is affecting the Earth's energy balance, and the rate of global warming has tripled. And of course, this climate, as we say, it is becoming unpredictable, and it will become more unpredictable in the coming years. And which is really surprising to listen to that. It will also cause food security and agricultural disruptions. Then species will go into extinction. And there will be increase in the rise in diseases, vector-borne diseases, respiratory diseases, and the global GDP would shrink. And you also told about some solutions, like we need to adopt renewable energy sources, we need to concentrate on water conservation, and of course planting more and more trees, or we can say protecting the forest. So it was a very complete presentation, not just on how climate change is affecting us, but of course, as you told also about some of the solutions that are available and that are in our hands. And the last message was very impressive. We don't have any other planet to live in, so we have to take care of our mother Earth. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Anjum. That was a beautiful summary. Thank you so much. And we really like the way that you are presenting it. Very good. And so the key takeaways from Mr. Banu was that the three major risks of the climatic change, that is warming temperatures, changes in precipitation, increase in the frequency or intensity of the extreme weather conditions, the weather events, including the rising sea levels. And the major impact which they are creating is air pollution, disease, extreme weather events, forced displacement, pressures on mental health, which is affecting the society and the humanity, with increased hunger and poor nutrition, and also not leaving aside, not compromising on the global GDP. Thank you so much. That was a brilliant presentation, Mr. Banu. And moving ahead, maybe request Dr. Tanuja ma'am. I think it's quite insightful, and I'm so excited because so many beautiful insights are coming, and we're not able to even leave a simple thing ahead. And that's why we have to interrupt in summarizing what the presentation is all about. That was very beautiful. And taking the key takeaway, Mr. Bal, from Mr. Banu, is that you are the change. You are the person for the change. So let's all take an oath here on this platform with Mr. Banu saying that we will be the catalyst for the change. Thank you so much. Moving ahead, Dr. Tanuja, maybe request the next question.
Yes. Now we invite Ms. Pavitra, student of Sri Saram Engineering College, IoT. She is a very passionate innovator dedicated to tackling environmental challenges through sustainable solutions, with a strong focus on climate actions, working on projects with the drive real world impact, committed to creating a technology driven solutions for a greener future, advocates for urgent climate actions and practical strategies to mitigate environmental risk. So she's very passionate on working on many projects. I invite to address on the projected climate change potential impacts and associated pointed to Ms. Pavitra, please.
Thank you. And thanks to Tanuja ma'am for bringing Ms. Pavitra along. Both of them are representing Sai Ram Engineering College. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And this is going to be quite interesting. Why? Because we're talking about change. And the catalyst for change is always in the hands of the younger generation. So on that note, we welcome Ms. Pavitra on board with us. Thank you.
Yes, Pavitra, your screen is visible. You can move to slideshow.
Present. Go to present.
Presentation.
Second last column. Share. Before that, present is there. Click on that present. Right hand side.
Ma'am, is my screen visible?
Yeah, your screen is visible, dear. Go to the presenting view.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, is my slides visible?
They are loading. Loaded now. Please go ahead. Thank you. Yes, Pavitra. The very best. The floor is all yours, Pavitra. Go ahead.
Yes, Pavitra, you can present. Pavitra, your screen is visible. You can go ahead. Pavitra is here? Yes, please move.
Click on the slide, Pavitra. Click on the slide on the screen and press the side arrow. It will start moving. Yes, Esther ma'am, we will consider it. Maybe we will invite you next.
Yes, ma'am. Pavitra, your voice is not audible, Pavitra.
Pavitra, we are not hearing you. Your slides are moving. Okay. Pavitra, should we come back to you again? Can we move ahead next?
Yes, ma'am.
And so that you just sort out this problem. Is it okay for you? Definitely, we'll come back to you. Thank you, Pavitra.
Yes, ma'am. We'll invite next speaker.
Maybe Esther, ma'am?
Yeah.
Just been waiting and I think
Yeah,
it's
ready.
good night. Esther,
Yes.
ma'am. Please invite Esther, ma'am. Thank you.
Shall we invite our next speaker? No?
Yeah. Dr. Esther from Malaysia.
Yeah, Dr. Esther from Malaysia. I am very privileged to invite you, ma'am. Yeah, and she's going to present on the point number 5.
Never mind, I'll read the topic.
Yes, I will. Yes.
Yes.
Allow us to present Dr. Esther before you. Thank you so much. Dr. Esther has joined us today, and she wanted to present on point of 5. Exactly. Ma'am is the CEO of Elegant Empire Education International, and she is also a mentor of STG, corporate trainer, researcher, international speaker who is representing iGen. Thank you, Esther, ma'am. Thanks for joining us today. And ma'am is presenting the topic, point of 5, that is strengthening the global response to the context of the sustainable development and efforts. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you. We are there with you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Srividya. Let me greetings from Malaysia, everyone. I think I'll go straight to my presentation. Can I share my slide, please?
Yes, ma'am. It's loading. Your video is on. We are able to view your presentation.
Yeah, okay.
You're quite audible.
Yeah.
I think it will load the slideshow now. Yes, there you are. And you can go ahead with your presentation. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you. So my topic already mentioned that strengthening the global response in the context of sustainable development and efforts. Yeah. So this, let's go to the next slide. Okay. So first, I'll be talking about the imperative of renewable energy transition. The global energy demand is expected to surge by 47% by 2050. This is from International Energy Outlook 2023 data. Meanwhile, climate change is accelerating, with 2023 recorded as the warmest year ever. So WMO, yeah, I think this is mentioned by, I think a lot of facts which I'm going to share, I think they've already mentioned. Doesn't matter, I will just discuss the what I think that they have not. The world is nearing the 1.5 degrees Celsius warming threshold, making the transition to renewable energy essential. Renewable energy offers a pathway to decarbonization, supporting sustainable development goals by reducing emissions, improving energy access, and promoting economic growth. For example, the European Union's Fit to 55 package aims to cut emission by 55% by 2030, accelerating the deployment of solar, wind, and other clean technologies. Supporting statistics here is 85% of new power capacity added globally in 2022 came from renewables. IRENA, countries like Denmark, 80% of renewable electricity in 2022 are leading by example. So key takeaways from this slide is that without aggressive renewable energy adoption, climate and energy security risk will intensify.
Next slide. Okay, this will be about system thinking in energy policy, a holistic approach, yeah? So energy systems are interconnected, meaning policies must address the entire value chain, resources extraction, generation, transmission, distribution, and consumption. Key policy concentration here is number one, externalities matter. Environmental and social impacts must be internalized. Number two will be carbon pricing works, which is UK's carbon price support scheme successfully reduced coal dependency. Third will be guiding investments. The EU taxonomy for sustainable activities directs funding into sustainable energy projects. For example, Sweden's carbon tax, which is 114 pounds per ton of carbon dioxide, led to a 30% reduction in emission without harming economic growth. The key takeaway from this is smart policies can drive renewables while ensuring economic viability. Next slide. Next slide is about solar power technological advancement and global deployment. Solar power is leading and clean energy transition with global solar PV capacity surpassing 1,200 GW in 2022. In ARENA, advancements in solar technology, perovskite solar cells, which is potential efficiency more than 30%, a bifacial solar panels, which is 10 to 20% higher energy yield, floating solar farms, example in China, Huinan floating solar plant. So China is investing a lot, has invested a lot on, I can't remember the actual figure, but you see they have really utilized the vast land area to develop these solar farms. Example, India ambitions solar targets, the Kurnool Ultra Mega Solar Park, which is about 1,000 MW in helping drive costs down. So here we can take away that cost reduction and efficient improvements are making solar the fastest growing energy source. Next, the wind energy. Here you see scaling up on onshore and offshore. Yeah, wind power reached 896 GW globally in 2022, with offshore wind expanding rapidly. So key developments on onshore wind, taller turbines, larger rotors, and improved material increasing efficiency. This is what they have done. And offshore wind, like floating turbines, example in Scotland, Hywind, unlock deeper waters. Example, UK Hornsea Wind Farm is also another good example of world's largest offshore wind project. So wind energy is scaling fast, but infrastructure upgrades are needed. So it's growing rapidly. So in the area of energy storage, enabling grid stability. So storage is critical to manage renewable energy fluctuations. So major storage technologies will be first, lithium ion batteries. The costs have dropped 80% since 2010. Example, Tesla Megapack, you can refer to that. And next will be pumped hydro storage, established large-scale solution. Dynamic power station, Wales is another example. So the third one will be emerging solutions, where we have flow batteries, compressed air storage, CAES. So other examples will be Australia's Hornsdale Power Reserve. Tesla batteries improve grid stability, reducing costs by millions. So key takeaway from this energy storage is is a game changer for renewables. Challenges, what are the challenges? It is like intermittency of renewables. Solar and wind depend on weather condition, making grid reliability a challenge. Now we have technology to create solar energy without depending on sun and weather. Yes, we have the latest technology. They can generate energy from solar energy without depending on the weather. So solutions here is better forecasting, AI-powered prediction models, demand response like shifting usage based on supply, grid flexibility, hybrid energy systems. A good example here is in Germany. They have successfully integrated high levels of renewables by enhancing grid flexibility and energy storage. So key takeaway here will be smart planning can minimize intermittency issues. So challenges in infrastructure limitation. So this is another challenges. Many renewable sources are far from demand centers, requiring new transmission networks. Solutions, we have grid modernization, where you have smart grids and automation. High voltage transmission, we have reduced losses over long distances. Like example, in China, ultra high voltage UHV transmission lines move renewable energy from Western desert to eastern cities. So from here, what we know is that infrastructure investments are crucial for smooth energy transition. So solution for this would be energy grid modernization, where modern grids enhance efficiency, resilience, and adaptability. So key strategies we have here. Number one will be real-time monitoring, AI-based grid management, microgrids and virtual power plants, VPP, decentralizing energy systems. The last one will be advanced control systems, where you have improved power flow and stability. Example, I'll give you that this US Department of Energy's Grid Modernization Initiative boosts R&D for grid reliability. So from here, we can, the key takeaway that smarter grids mean a more stable, efficient, renewable energy. So solutions, incentives for, another solution will be incentives for renewable adoption. Governments can accelerate adoption through policy measures, key incentives like feed-in tariffs, fixed price for renewable energy, tax credits where you lower upfront costs, renewable portfolio standards where minimum renewable share is involved, carbon pricing, penalizing fossil fuels emission. So example is in Denmark, you have feed-in tariffs plus carbon pricing led to more than 50% renewable electricity share. So the takeaway here is that smart cities, smart incentives can rapidly scale up renewables. So that's all from my side. I think it's well defined here.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's a
Thank
very,
you.
very
Thank you.
defined presentation. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
It was quite comprehensive. And maybe request Dr. Anjum Qureshi to summarize the content. Dr. Anjum?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Esther. It was another insightful presentation. And yes, of course, as you were talking about renewable energy, so it is something where the renewable energy transition is the need of the hour, because we know that the renewable energies, sources of energies are the ones that will be helping a great in fighting with the climate change, because it has low greenhouse gas emissions. And yes, as you said, yes, we need to adopt the green technologies. And of course, as you mentioned about the holistic approach. And in that, we have to revise the policies and where for the generation and the extraction of the renewable energy sources. And you also talked about how different sources, renewable sources like the solar or the wind energy, they will be helping us and fighting with us. And the main thing that I liked here was when you talked about the intermittent nature. Yes, intermittent nature of the renewable sources of energy is a very big challenge which the people working in the field of renewables are facing. Because, but yes, you also told about the solutions that the data-driven decisions by AI. The AI models are really helping, and there are many researchers going on. In fact, a few days ago, even I have presented a paper on it, and this is a very interesting thing that you talked about. And yes, smart blending. So with the solution that you have given, I know, I believe that yes, the renewable energy transition is surely going to help us to tackle the climate change. And once again, thank you for the wonderful presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Esther. That was a wonderful presentation. And Dr. Anjan Qureshi, that was a wonderful summary as well. So we all know that when we talk about sustainable development in the context of globalization, so the approaches lead to the concept of life, quality, and economic and social environment aspects, as everybody has given instances from different parts of the globe on these, and promoting the idea of balance between the economic growth, social equity, and the efficient use of the resources available, and the preservation of the surrounding environment without jeopardizing the present scenario, the present environment, the present landscape, where it all leads to the people to end the poverty and hunger in all the forms and dimensions, to protect our planet. That's what the only planet that we have from degradation. When it comes to the prosperity, ensure that the human beings enjoy the prosperous and fulfilling lives with overcoming all the threats and challenges, to attain peace. When we foster peaceful, just, inclusive societies in every form that we think about the fear from all this degradation and also the violence involved, I think definitely we'll be able to create the planet that we're dreaming of. On that note, we have got the other speaker, the next speaker with us, Mr. Jose Estes from GSFN, who is here to elaborate more on the reasons for the concern, that is RFCs, to illustrate the impact and the risk for the people and economies and the ecosystems across the sectors and the regions which are involved in it. And as with you all, I think I'm sure every one of us is so curious to know more about from Professor Estes. May I request, Professor, you can start your presentation while Dr. Tanuja will do the introduction part of you. Thank you. Professor.
Thank you very much again for your invitation. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for everyone that is attending to this a special gathering of minds, like I used to say. And it's our honor to be present in such, opportunity to discuss further, I believe, one important subject among all these that were brightly presented here today. So it is about noon here in Brazil. And so I will thank you in advance, and I will ask your permission to please share my screen in order to bring a small presentation today. Yeah. Okay.
It's loading. Tanuja ma'am, meanwhile, you can do the introduction if you would like to.
Ma'am?
Yes, continue, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
Professor, your screen is visible. Actually, it has loaded. And it's on slideshow mode.
Yeah.
The first, we are able to see the first slide, the reasons for the concerns, RFCs, the impacts and the risks for people, the economies, and the ecosystems across the sectors and the regions. You can introduce yourself, Professor, a little bit.
Yes, of course. And thank you very much. Can you hear me well?
Yes, you're quite audible. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you. The floor is all yours.
Thank you very much. It is really an honor to be here among all of you. We do have a lot of research in all these subjects that we have been pointing out with this climate adaptation conference that we are presenting here today. And I believe, I hard believe that everyone sound like music to our ears because they really show up how we are connected in terms of international cooperation in order to address and in order to deal with a small contribution from ourselves to this huge problem of the climate impact and everything that follows. So I'm here in order to give you a brief presentation or a brief remark in terms of these RFCs, reasons for concerns, and the impacts and risks for people, economies, and ecosystems throughout our regions, of course. I will try to briefly describe it in 5 minutes each part. I try to divide it into 3 different parts in order to allow you to dive with me at a glance and comprehend a little bit further what we have been trying to discuss with this subject since IPCC brought this framework to us. Well, I am Professor Dr. Jose Ruiz Esteves. I am also, I was named also a global chair of SDG4 for Global Sustainable Future Network that is brightly headed by our, indestructible woman, Professor Dr. Renuka Thakur. I thank you very much, Dr. Srividya, for the invitation of sharing my thoughts and insights with you today. I have recently named also country director for Brazil at the International Higher Education Teaching and Learning Association that is headed by Professor Patrick Blessinger in New York, USA. I was also nominated recently a researcher at the Institute of Advanced Studies from University of São Paulo, and I'm following as my second term invited to as a researcher for the ABS think tank and other organizations here. I'm proud to be part of these organizations, and I'm also proud to discuss all the subjects that are related to sustainable development and sustainability, especially how we can contribute from academia, from the higher education institutions to all this that we are facing in our Anthropocene. I have also really, I have to thank during this past 3 or 4 years, especially when we have faced a global pandemic that destroyed a lot of, we have conceived up to the year 2019, and we are dealing probably with we can call the second post-pandemic year since 2022. And I am proud to be part of these, international ecosystems and try to speak and bring a little bit of my sharings with you today. And of course, we have been all discussing here that climate change is a global challenge, that it affects every aspect of our lives, and that we have to understand these risks and impacts, that they are crucial for developing effective adaptation strategies. So we have to explore, in my humble opinion, these RFCs framework, the reasons for concern framework, because these highlight the critical areas where climate change poses significant risk to people, us, everyone, economies, and ecosystems. And I would like to take a slice and thank for the presentation that we have here in this morning about the finance constraints that we are facing that are connected with the climate impacts too. Well, going further, this is of course image that you have saw a lot, and that is the climate change and the negative impacts on the environment and human beings by the end of the 21st century, unless we do all we can to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. So as you see, the whole world is suffering with this moment that we are facing here in the present. And of course, Brazil, which that is such a continental country, is suffering a lot because we have 5 different and special ecosystems. Of course, you all know the Amazon region, but aside the Amazon region, we have 4 other huge and vibrant, ecosystems that are also hugely affected by the climate change in this moment. And if we do have an overview, or we try to make a brief description of the RFCs, they have been developed by the Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change and categorize the climate risk into 5 key areas. That's it. So probably this is the chart that you have been all dealing with in the past 2 or 3 years, because it expresses, in each cocoon and each one of the RFC, what the rise of the temperature is impacting our ecosystems worldwide on a global perspective. And if we came to RFC 1, that is dealing with the unique and treat net systems, unique and treat net systems such as coral reefs, the polar regions. We have saw a speech including concern about this morning today, and biodiversity hotspots are highly sensitive to climate change, because these systems provide essential services, include biodiversity and ecosystem stability. However, even these small temperature increases, and we have been talking about a lot of time in this 1.5 increase, a Celsius increase, but we know that we may be, reaching this on a very urgent perspective. And so we have to detain the possibility to go beyond this point of no returns that we have reached today. We have around 9 points of no returns that have been pointed by scientists in this decade. And probably we are overpassing 7 of them. So it's urgent to talk about and to move from agenda to action. There is here some, I've tried to make it as dynamic as possible. When we talk about unique and treat net systems, these are some examples and reasons for concern that are related, and I have tried to divide it into Brazil, into Europe, and to Asia, in order to briefly describe it on a better perspective. So when we talk about Brazil and these RFC1, we can have, as an example, the Amazon rainforest, that is a critical global carbon sink that is really experiencing increased deforestation and more frequent wildfires due to rising temperatures and prolonged dry seasons. I am here right now in the state of Maranhão, in the capital state of Maranhão, that is an island that is São Luís do Maranhão, and I am in the border with the Pará state, that is the beginning of the Amazon inner forest, and then the other state border will be the Amazon state with the Amazon forest itself. So these three things, biodiversity and the livelihoods of indigenous communities, we here in Maranhão state, we are part of the Amazon region. We are included in the Amazon region, and we have a lot of indigenous and traditional communities that have been affected hugely by these climate changes. And we talk about, if we talk about Europe, the Mediterranean region is experiencing significant biodiversity loss due to the rising temperatures and changing precipitation patterns. We have these European coastal ecosystems also threatened by sea level rise and increased salinity. And if we came to Asia, the Himalayan glaciers, for example, which provide water to millions of people, are retreating happily due to rising temperatures. So this threatens water security and agricultural productivity in downstream regions. This is something that we have been following and on a very increased and you know, unimaginable pattern during the past 5 years. When we talk about RFC2, we are talking about extreme weather events. So climate change is increasing the frequency and intensity of extreme weather, including hurricanes, heat waves, and floods. So these events cause widespread damage to infrastructure, disrupt economies, and pose several risks to human health and safety. I have also to point out that we have discussed it here a year ago when we joined a cabinet like that and talk about the One Health framework. And I have been invited to discuss a little bit further about this too. And I'm open to discuss it further with you, of course, my dear fellows. But recent data shows a clear link between rising global temperatures and the escalation of extreme weather incidents. And if we bring this extreme weather events examples, we will see in Brazil, for example, that we have experienced the rise in extreme weather events such as severe droughts in the Northeast region. This is the region where I'm talking to you right now, and the intense rainfall leading to floods and landslides in the Southeast. What happened recently is that we have a huge flood in the South region of Brazil, and the capital of the largest state, that is Rio Grande do Sul, that borders other countries like Uruguay and Argentina, had been under water for a period of 4 months. Can you believe a capital state under the water by a period of 4 months? So these events disrupt agriculture, the water supply, and of course, the urban affect hugely the urban infrastructure. And when we talk about this in Europe, we just see that Europe has faced record-breaking heatwaves, such as we had back in the year 2022 in summer, which led to thousands of excess deaths and widespread wildfires. So these events strain healthcare systems and cause economic loss. And if we bring up to the Asia, we will see Asia probably as the most disaster-prone region, as I would like to call, with frequent floods, storms, and heat waves. For instance, the 2022 floods in Pakistan that caused widespread devastation and affected millions of people, causing significant economic damage. So again, the economic perspective in place, but we have to upgrade the human perspective over the economics, of course. So our lives are at risk. So when we talk about RFC3, that means a distribution of impacts. These impacts, all that we are seeing, are not evenly distributed, because vulnerable communities, particularly in developing regions, such as our region here, many regions in Latin America and Asia, particularly in developing regions, face disproportionate risk due to the limited adaptive capacity. So this inequity exacerbates existing social and economic disparities and make it imperative to address climate justice in adaptation efforts. So we are moving again to RFC4, that is what we know as the global aggregate impacts. And these refer to the overall economic, social, and ecological consequences of the climate change. And there is a small chart, and I'm leaving this presentation with you. I just have put a link of a Google Drive that you can access, read, and download for yourselves. The cumulative effect of these impacts can significantly hinder global development and economic stability. So how climate change will impact the biggest economy? There is here a chart that's with the estimated impact of a 4 degrees Celsius temperature increase on real GDP when we take it up to the year 2048. LDRC5, large-scale singular events. These are that, huge impacts that we are suffering, especially with this integration of ice sheets or the abrupt shifts in the ocean currents. And this, of course, according to scientists, I am also a scientist, but this is not my specific area, but I brought the research, a very serious research of global scientists worldwide, and many of you are included on this. This can lead to irreversible changes with profound global consequences, because these are often unpredictable and can trigger cascading effects, as we know, that amplify all the climate risks that we already know. And I have tried to here bring a bunch, of examples of reasons to concern that are related again to Brazil, Europe, and Asia. And I'm trying to write light in each one of the RFC. And when we talk about distribution of impacts, for example, in Brazil, we have seen a rise in extreme weather events such as the severe droughts in the Northeast, etc. When we talk about Europe, and we are talking about global aggregate impact, record-breaking wet waves. When we are talking about Asia and large-scale singular event, the collapse of the Arctic sheet and Antarctic ice sheet, and the significant risk coastal cities in Asia, for example. So there are many interconnectedness of these climate risks, and this means that an impact in one area can exacerbate risks in another. So, for example, extreme weather events can lead to food and water shortage, which in turn can cause social unrest and economic instability. So understanding these interconnections is crucial for developing comprehensive adaptation strategies, in my humble opinion. There are a lot of adaptive measures in place. So we have to bring to our minds that effective adaptation will require a combination of ecosystem-based approaches, technological innovations, and of course, policy and interventions, especially from all levels of governments. Here in Brazil, we have all three levels. We are talking about local government level with the cities and municipalities. We have a state level, and we have, of course, the national level and the federal governance. And some examples will include restoring wetlands to buffer against floods, developing drought-resistant crops, and implementing climate-resilient infrastructure, of course, because these measures enhance resilience and reduce vulnerability to face this climate impact. There are some case studies that we have also with huge importance to bring here and to the center of this table discussion from around the world that demonstrate successful adaptation strategies. And I brought here a Dutch strategy in Africa. And so this is, a two-way concern about adaptation that is, merging from one side France and in Africa. And this is a record of dialogue for COP27 from African Union, and it's a European country like we have with the Dutch strategy in Africa. And we have, as professors, researchers, lecturers to go further in this direction. There is a whole of international cooperation, and I believe, deep heart belief, that is essential for addressing climate change. Agreements like the Paris Agreement that facilitate global efforts to reduce emissions, a collaborative initiative that enable cultures to share knowledge, resources, and technology in order to enhance the global resilience to climate impacts. There are community engagement that we have also to bring to the center of discussion, because engaging local communities in adaptation efforts, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, is vital for the success. I have experienced this a lot, and of course, within the academia and the higher education institutions. There is a role, and a very important role, because our higher education institutions and climate impact research networks, they may play, they have to play, they must play a pivotal role in addressing climate change and developing innovative solutions to mitigate its impact. So networks, just like I am integrating, just like the one we have here, experiencing this conference, the international conference here today, Rede Internacional de Pesquisa and Climate Resilience in the UniOeste University in Brazil, coordinated by our bright Professor Dr. Irene Caniato, the Global Sustainable Future Network with our unbeatable coordination that is Professor Dr. Renuka Thakur, the Climate Reality Project, and I'm also a member and a part. These all exemplify the collaborative efforts that we need to enhance resilience, especially in affected communities. And just to finish, I will send what I will give to you, these letters of rights on climate justice that have been produced here in Brazil and presented in the last COP. These are tools for action and awareness that will catalyze the synergy between the ancestral knowledge and the people of the territories, of course, with its contemporary advance in climate science. So there is a QR code that you can reach this Pampulha Lagoon and Belo Horizonte region that I headed as a part of the integrated part of this letter of rights and climate justice here in Brazil. And of course, it will be in your material too. So if you really think that the environment is less important than the economy, try holding your breath while you count your money. So by integrating scientific, economic, and social dimensions, we can really, really, really develop holistic strategies that enhance resilience and will ensure sustainable development for the future generations. Thank you. Obrigado. Our projects are always open for a partnership, your sponsorship. And here are my contacts, and you also will have these contacts in the material that I have left in our chat right now. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Obrigado. Am I saying it right? Well, that was a brilliant presentation, mind-blowing presentation indeed, Professor. You have covered every single point when it comes to the what is required about the reasons, the main reasons. Are we going to look into the reasons when it's so exactly, as you rightly mentioned, why are some countries which are richer and some are poorer than others? The motivating question which really underpins the study of the economies which are involved in it. And as you rightly said, the rich literature that has sought to identify the deep determinants, the best comparative economic performance over the term, and which is the offshoot of this climatic adaptation, which has to be, which was presented in a very geographical way. You've covered all the geography metrics when it comes to that the country's geography affects its economy through the multiple channels, including agriculture productivity, yes, and the disease vectors, and also the proximity to the markets which are involved in it, with the landscape, and also the ecosystem which is involved in it, and also to a major part of it, the rules and the norms of the governing society, which is being imposed by these external factors, which are the incentives to engage individually engage them, or collectively in a more productive dominant factor, which is being that. And as you rightly mentioned, one of the keynote which we're going to take away from your presentation is that the recent research that you were highlighting, focusing specifically on the effects of the climatic change on average temperatures, points in this direction. The temperature has been found to affect via agricultural heat, the physical and the cognitive performance of the workers, the demand for the energy, as well as the incidental crime, unrest, and the disturbance of the conflict and the disturbance of peace, which is really affecting the planet to the major crisis. So by one account, as we converse upon with you in the second half of the 20th century, an average temperature rise of 1 degree centigrade in the given country or the yield can affect the per capita income to fall by an average of an individual for about 1.4%. Isn't it alarming? And I think we need to really look into it. And critically, the effect persisted on these. The temperature shock was over, and that's affecting the country's economic performance over time, and thereby affecting the peace of the planet as well. So let's pull up our sleeves and let's start together, put our heart, mind, and soul together, and let's start working it out. And thanks for all the insights that you have gathered from different parts of the globe. That's really appreciated. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having your presence here amidst us today. And we are really grateful to you and to the SFM as well. That was your awesome presentation. Thank you. Yes, moving ahead, I think it's time to welcome the next speaker. Tanuja ma'am,
Yes.
Is Ms. Pavitra ready?
Yes, ma'am, she is ready. Shall we call ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, I'm ready.
Yeah. Yes, Pavitra, your topic is on pointer 2, projected climate change and potential impacts and associated. Please.
Ma'am, is my screen visible?
It's visible, but your voice is little breaking. You don't need to on your video. I think you can go ahead with your presentation. Don't on your video. If you're on your video, then you will not get the signal. Your internet will be disturbed. Go ahead presenting it, Pavitra, please, quickly.
We are the first generation to feel the impact of climate change and the last generation that can do something about it. The earth does not belong to us. We belong to earth. Every moment we delay actions, we are writing the future in fire, floods and extinctions. The question is no longer is climate change real? The question is what we will do about it before it's too late. Good evening, everyone. This is Pavitra Vijay Kumar from Sri Sai Ram Engineering College. I stand before you today not just as a speaker, but as a fellow inhabitant of this planet, sharing a responsibility to save its future. Climate change is no longer a distant threat; it's the defining crisis of our era. The Earth is heating up faster than ever before. Glaciers are melting, sea levels are rising, and extreme weather events are becoming more frequent. If we fail to act, the consequences will be irreversible. The alarming reality. 8 of the last 10 years have been the hottest in the record history. Human activities, burning fossil fuels and deforestation are accelerating. This crisis, every minute we lose a forest area the size of 27 soccer fields. This means fewer trees to absorb CO2, more heat trapped in our atmosphere, and over 75% of global greenhouse gas emissions come from burning coal, oil, and gas. More CO2 means more heat. The Earth is now trapping more heat than ever before. This isn't just about warmer summers, it's about the planet on the brink of the cattosphere. It is practical data that I'm going to provide. It's like closing in on 1.5 degrees. There's always an increase in the global warming as it's shown in the statistical data. Why the climate is actually changing? Human activities are accelerating the human change. Burning fossil fuels and deforestation are the two biggest culprits. More CO2, more heat. Heat is trapping more heat than ever before. Fossil fuels, over 75% of global greenhouse gas emissions come from burning coal, oil, and gas. Deforestation. Every minute we lose an area of forest the size of 27 soccer fields. Fewer trees equal to lesser CO2 emission. At risk. Hidden impacts. Climate change isn't just about rising temperature. It is a rewriting nature's balance. Springing is arriving earlier, birds and disrupting ecosystem. Deadly microorganisms frozen for thousands of years are awakening due to melting glaciers. Acid and ocean acidification are threatening marine life. Aquatic creatures are even moving towards roads instead of oceans. Not even natures are impacting, human impact, but what it does mean. Climate change is not just an environmental issue, it's a direct threat to human survival. disease arising, temperature are expanding, mosquito-borne disease like malaria, dengue into new religions. Deadly viruses along trapped in ice are resurfacing. Deadly heat waves, extreme humidity and heat are creating bed bumps, condition where the human body cannot cool itself. By 2050, heat waves could kill more people than all infectious disease combined. Food crisis, higher CO2 levels are reducing the nutrients in the crop like rice, wheat, and frequent droughts. And floods are worsening food shortage. Mental health crisis, increasing climate disasters are leading to depression and anxiety, especially among young people. Economic and risk. Our economy is at the stake. Striking sea threaten coastal cities, causing billions in damages. Air pollution is reducing life expectancies. In Delhi, air quality has hit record heights of 30 times the safe limit due to chronic pollution disorders. How the ozone is affected, a shield in danger. Our planet protective shield is awakening. What does it mean? CO2 and NO2 forms a painting layer above the stratosphere which restrict the UV radiations from entering into the earth and going back to the climate. What can we do? The future is on our hand. The climate for action is now. Transition to renewable energy, fossil fuels. Sustainable living, small changes make a big difference. Using public transport, adopting plant-based diets, and practicing the 3 Rs, that is, reduce, reuse, and recycle, can significantly cut down our carbon footprints, protect and restore ecosystem. Planting trees, preserving forests, and restoring biodiversity are crucial. Trees are carbon absorbers and essential for balanced climate. Support green policy. We must advocate for the stronger climate policies and elect leaders who can prioritize environmental sustainability. Where are we now? CIRAM initiatives. Our institutions have already taken commendable steps through NSS and UP activities. We have planted over 100 trees, conducted cleanup in nearby villages. The implementation of solar panels worth 2 crore is a significant step towards renewable energy. We are also supporting goals and implementing SDG. Even the first year people in our college can know about SDG and create projects in that. Even the amazing activities like Scouts and Guides have created a remarkable setup in Tamil Nadu, not even Tamil Nadu, it's entire globe, telling about the awareness of SDG, importance of SDG, and how to implement SDG. So it's a Delhi battle against pollution. You know, Delhi is highly polluted and high risk factor. These are some of the recent articles published about the Delhi activities and how people are being affected from the Delhi situation. Thank you. We are the first generation to feel the climate change and last to stop it. I would like to show my gratitude towards CIRAM institutions and Tanuja ma'am for providing me this opportunity. I hope this created an impact. The earth doesn't belong to us. We belong to the earth. Thank you.
Yes, Tanuja ma'am, could you summarize that? Because she is stressing the point.
Yes, very interesting, Pavitra. So this shows your commitment. So not in words, come in actions. So that makes only our climate actions to some extent to prevent. So very good. You have addressed everything and you have mentioned all the consequences of climate change, and you have insisted about the human survival in danger and also economic losses. The impact you have very clearly mentioned, and also your commitment is very wonderful. And being a first year, you are going to do you are going to involve in many projects, and we wish you to do many more projects towards renewable energy, so that you can reduce our temperature from 1.5 to less, not beyond that. Thank you, Pavitra.
Thank you, Pavitra. Thank you for that
Thank you, ma'am, for providing me this opportunity.
And the powerhouse presentation with the message that Earth does not belong to us. We belong to the Earth, and let's make our planet a better place to live in. We join hands with Pavitra today. Thank you so much. On that note, can we invite the next speaker on board? Tanuja ma'am? Mr. Banu? Mr. Mano, are you ready? Are you here? Mr. Mano?
Mano, I am Manoj Babu, ma'am. You are
Manoj.
asking.
Okay,
Oh,
sorry.
just a
Mr.
minute.
Manoj.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Tanuja ma'am, can we please invite?
Yes, I. So, yes. So, sorry for the delay. I invite Dr. A. Manoj Babu to present on the pointer number 4, emission pathways and system transition consistent with 1.5 degree global warming. Sorry. So, sir is currently working as a deputy head in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Dr. MGR Education and Research Institute, and he has been working in MGR University for the past 20 years, and he is specialized in thermal power engineering, and he got a doctorate in internal combustion engine, and he got many research papers and patent, and is expert in machine learning and emission control. So with this note, I welcome Dr. Manoj Babu sir to present the pointer 4 emission pathways and system transitions consistent with 1.5 degrees Celsius global warming. Please.
Thank you, ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am?
Warm welcome to you, sir. You're quite audible. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
You can
Once
share
again.
your screen, please.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
It's
Yes, ma'am.
loading.
Oh,
It's visible. You can go on to the presentation mode now.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Once again, due to some bandwidth issues, I wish to close my video, ma'am. Actually, how long it will be good, I don't know.
Definitely.
Sure. Okay, ma'am. One second, ma'am. Okay, basically, good evening to one and all those who present here. I am very happy and feel privileged and honored to present my topic in the topic of emission pathways and system transfer for 1.5 degrees Celsius global warming. So basically, this is the topic actually. Right. So I will be discussing one of the most urgent. One second, ma'am, please, ma'am. Okay. So today I will be discussing one of the most urgent global challenges, climate change, and the critical pathways we must take to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. We will explore different emission scenarios, system transitions, and the role of policies, technology, and individuals in achieving this goal. So let us dive in actually. So the introduction, climate change is no longer a distant threat. It's here affecting lives and economic worldwide. The Paris Agreement set an ambitious goal to keep warming well below 2 degrees Celsius, preferably at 1.5 degrees Celsius. Why does 0.5 degrees Celsius make such a big difference? Because at 1.5 degrees Celsius, we can avoid the worst impacts such as extreme heat, stronger hurricanes, and rising sea levels. But we are currently on a path to much higher warming. So how do we change course? Let us explore the possible emission pathways. The emission pathways to 1.5 degrees Celsius. There are multiple ways our future could unfold depending on our actions today. The first one is the business as usual pathway. This pathway leads to a catastrophic 3 degrees Celsius or more warming. The next one is current policies may limit warming to around 2.5 degrees Celsius, but that's still dangerous. A sustainable development pathway can get us below 2 degrees Celsius with strong policy action. The net zero pathway is the only way to meet the 1.5 degrees Celsius target. It requires rapid emission reductions, massive clean energy adoption, and carbon removal strategies. The next one is the carbon budget for 1.5 degrees Celsius. So this statement, this particular one explains the concept of the carbon budget and why immediate action is necessary to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. So what is carbon budget? A carbon budget refers to the maximum amount of CO2 emission that humanity can release into the atmosphere while still keeping global warming below a specific temperature threshold. In this case, the 1.5 degrees Celsius target was set by the Paris Agreement to avoid the worst effects of climate change. The scientific estimates suggest that to stay within the 1.5 degrees Celsius limit, we can emit around 500 gigaton of carbon dioxide globally before we exceed this threshold. So right now, global CO2 emission are around 40 gigatons per year from activities like burning fossil fuels such as coal, oil and gas, deforestation and industrial processes. So if we continue on this trajectory without reducing the emissions, we will exceed the 1.5 degrees Celsius limit by the early 2030s. Once the carbon budget is used up, we will have to rely on negative emission technologies like carbon capture and reforestation to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, something that is very expensive and not yet widely deployed. Since the carbon budget is being depleted quickly, every year of inaction makes it harder to stay within the safe limits. The faster we reduce the emissions, the greater our chances of avoiding catastrophic climate impact like more extreme heat waves and wildfires, rising sea levels, stronger storms and disruptions. The energy system transition. The energy production is responsible for most global emissions, mainly from burning fossil fuel to stay on track for 1.5 degrees Celsius. So what we have to follow is we must rapidly phase out coal, oil and gas while scaling up renewables. From the figure, you can find out which is occupying the more number. So increase energy storage solutions to manage renewable variability, then electrify sectors like transportation and industry using clean energy. By 2050, 70 to 85% of electricity must come from renewables. This is achievable, but requires immediate investment and policy support. The next one is the industry transition. So heavy industries such as steel, cement and chemicals are hard to decarbonize, but it is very essential. The essential key strategies include energy efficiency improvements to reduce waste, switching to green hydrogen for high heat processes, carbon capture and storage to deal with unavoidable emissions. So the technology exists, but investment and large-scale adoption must accelerate. The next one is the transport transition. The transportation accounts for about 20% of global emissions and demand is growing. To align with 1.5 degrees Celsius, we need electric vehicles to replace petrol and diesel cars. Public transit must be expanded to reduce individual car dependency. Sustainable aviation and shipping fuels like biofuels and hydrogen must become mainstream. So governments must incentivize these changes while improving infrastructures. The next one is the urban and infrastructure transition. So cities contribute over 70% of emission. So smart cities, the solution is the smart cities that use efficient energy systems and green buildings with the solar power installation and energy saving technologies, then circular economies that reduce waste and reuse materials. These are the solutions, whereas the urban planning decisions made today will determine emissions for decades to come. The next one is the agriculture and the land use transition. So in agriculture, land use transition, agriculture contributes significant methane and nitrous oxide emissions. So to transitions to sustainable food system, we must promote sustainable farming practices that store carbon in soil, reduce deforestation and restore degraded land, cut food waste, and encourage dietary shift towards more plant-based diets. So reforestation and carbon sequestration can play a major role in achieving net zero. The next one is the socio-economic and the policy shifts. So the technology alone is not enough. We need strong policies and financial shift. Right. So the carbon pricing will discourage fossil fuel use. Green finance will drive investments in clean energy. A just transition will ensure workers in high emission industries find new opportunities in the green economy. A fair, inclusive transition is critical for global cooperation. So now we have some challenges and opportunities before us. So the challenges, obviously, many of us have discussed here. The challenges will be the slow political action, high cost of transition, then resistance from fossil fuel industries. So these all are the challenges we have. However, the opportunities outweigh the challenges. the millions of new green jobs in renewables and sustainable industries, health benefits from cleaner air, stronger economics based on sustainable growth. Now, these all are the challenges and opportunities we have. The next one is the path forward. So the science is clear. 1.5 degrees Celsius is still possible, but time is running out. Governments must act urgently to implement policies. Businesses must invest in clean technologies. Individuals must reduce carbon footprints and advocate for changes. So every fraction of a degree matters. So 0.1 degree Celsius can mean the difference between survival and disaster for millions. The time to act is now. Thank you very much for the patience for listening my presentation. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much, every one of you present here. Thank
Dr.
you.
Manoj Babu, it was a brilliant presentation. In our saying, they say that if you come late, you come the latest. And the time to act is now. Yes, definitely it is now. And that was a very insightful where you have just addressed the challenges and also given us solutions. More to hear from Dr. Anjum Qureshi. Thank you, ma'am. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. That was again an amazing presentation with lots of insights, and we can say. And yes, the best part that I can say is the time to act is now. And as you said, 1.5 degrees centigrade, yes, so it was possible. But we don't need to waste time. We need to, as you already pointed out, the challenges and the opportunities that we have. So we need to know, once we know the challenges, so now it is on our part how we try to work on those challenges. And of course, the new opportunities that you talked about, like the new green jobs that we'll be having and improved lifestyle that we'll be having. So that was really a very good part. And of course, the best part was like we need to work together. Because climate change, as even other speakers pointed out, it is a global phenomenon. It is a global challenge that we are facing. And we need to work out, people, the higher education institutions, government, everyone has to work together. And if we act together, obviously we'll be achieving it. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. In addition to what Dr. Qureshi has summarized, so the UN Environment Program, UNEP, has released its annual emission report, what you have rightly mentioned, which has predicted that 2030 emissions must be reduced at least to 28 to 42% compared to the comparative current policy scenarios to reach the Paris Agreement goals of limiting the global warming to 2 degrees, from 2 degrees to 1.5 degrees. So that we all should work together in reduction of the greenhouse gas emissions in all sectors, as you have rightly given more and more instances. Thank you, sir. That was a quite insightful presentation indeed. And we have got one more speaker who joined us. Mr. Raman. Mr. Raman.
Actually, sir is not in the meet.
He's not there. Mr. Raman. Mr. Raman, are you there in any other IDs? Have you logged in any other ID?
I saw previously.
He was there. Yeah?
Yeah, 2 speakers before, I think I saw in the meet. Now he's not here.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that probably because of the internet issues, he would have. Okay, so we have come to the closure of today's session. It was a wonderful session. We'll open the floor to everyone. As such, we'll take turns and then we will summarize it. So we're going to start with Madam Anjum Qureshi, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it's just jam session. Just a minute to talk about today's session. Thank you.
Yeah, that was actually very insightful. And in fact, they were speaking with lots of data that they had. And a common thing that I learned today is, yes, we need to think seriously about this climate change, and very small habits in our daily habit, very small changes in our daily habits will surely help us to achieve it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And moving ahead, like Professor Jose Estes, if you're still there, Professor, Dr. Vishnupada Bose. It's just a minute for just to talk about today's session. Thank you, Doctor. Anybody would like to add? Professor Adel Ahmed, if you're still there, we could see you there so that you can just give your feedback.
Hello.
Yes, Professor. Yes, Doctor.
Shall I continue?
Please continue.
Yes. I extend my sincere thanks and gratitude to Dr. Shida and respected members of this platform and participants, dignitaries, presenters. It is really good session. I have learned many things from this session and updated many information speaker has presented. And I really appreciate this contribution of this platform towards achieving the goal of sustainable development. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Vishnupada Bose. And moving ahead, like if we can hear from Vishnu, Mr. Vishnu Chakravarti, would you like to say something, sir? Mr. Pradeep Mahapatra? He has been present right through and through. Okay, so over to Tanuja ma'am, and then Dr. Mamta Chawla. Dr. Mamta? So Tanuja ma'am, after you, Dr. Mamta Chawla. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. This climate adaptation is really, it has to be taken very seriously for the next generation to live in sustainability. So all the pointers were clearly explained by our the distinguished speakers of today. So many speakers did talk about the action plans, also renewable energy, alternate energy sources, and what are the particularly one of our speakers talked about the materials, what to be used in the solar panels and the other things. So it has to be very seriously taken into account. As Pavitra also mentioned, the various activity, the higher education, they have to come forward. They have to initiate on action plans. Then only we can see the changes in the earth. Because as already you have mentioned, the earth is not for individuals; it is for others. So if we want to be green, our earth, for the greener earth, we have to go in actions. So for which all the higher education, they have to come forward. The student support is very, very important here. Then only we can make this there is a drastic changes in this climate. Thank you, ma'am.
Well noted, ma'am. Dr. Ishrat Mira Mizana. Ishrat, ma'am, would you like to say something? The principal of Nursing College. Yes,
good evening, all.
Yeah,
it was
good
a lovely
evening.
presentation to hear to all the engineers there on sustainable development goal. And we being nurses, and we work closely with the community health people also. So I think we also should take it forward to do better for climate change. Thank you very much. It's nice hearing to all. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Dr. Mamta Chawla.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving me the opportunity to be part of it. And yes, some of the session I missed and some of the session I could attend. But I think we are able to reach to the main aim of this particular session, that we are creating an awareness about global warming and a concern. And specifically transportation to biofuel, to different alternate of transportation of fuel, and smart cities, to the concern that yes, how it's going to impact our future. It's been thoroughly discussed with data, with understanding, and specifically the metaphor is you. That means we can be the torchbearer to create awareness and to bring it to that what you call neutrality or zero carbon footprint. So all of us needs to be united and together from different parts of the country. And thanks to Dr. Srividya for bringing so many diverse people in terms of background to the country orientation, different time zones, and we all are together here to really discuss and create an awareness and bring in that consciousness that yes, we can do, even a small bit can really matter a lot. Thank you so much, ma'am, for bringing
Thank
me
you, Dr.
here.
Mamta. And I could see Mr. Vishnu Chakravarti has opened his camera. Yes, sir. Just a minute. A quick review about today's session, please. Over to you. Yes, sir. Would you like to say something? Mr. Vishnu, you're not audible. You're muted, actually. I think we didn't hear that. Am I muted? No. Okay, so thank you so much. And it was really a wonderful session. As we all know, the limited global warming, that 1.5 degrees centigrade, wherever if you see the word, if you see the number 15 by chance, or even 1.5 somewhere, I think this will really come to our mind, at the back of our mind, saying that, okay, am I contributing to the carbon footprint, or am I going against it? Am I just doing it exactly what I'm supposed to do? As I mentioned in the beginning of that, it all starts with each and everyone's contribution is to the major core. It really adds up there, and then the reductions of the greenhouse gas emissions in all sectors. And exactly what does it mean? How does it actually affect the human existence? Is that increase in the global average temperature to the pre-industrial levels? This is the key thing that we should remember, that if at all we are going to contribute to the global warming, exactly to the reduction of the global warming, then what are things that we need to adopt? So many strategies have been discussed across at length and breadth from different parts, instances from different parts of the globe. Within this 3 hours, I think it was mind-blowing of no age criteria, like starting from the student to the most experienced person in the industry. And from different sectors, I'm just running out of words, because there were different professionals, contributors really shared their insights on this platform, and from different background, diverse background, cultural background, countries, different, and such that I think it's, as our platform is always a knowledge sharing platform, it has really shared a big alarm signal to the global rise temperature of 1.5 degrees centigrade, as Dr. Mamta was mentioning. If at all we are going to really work on restricting this global warming, sorry, Dr. Yeah, so are we going to really talk about the intense drought, storms, heat waves, rise in sea levels, melting glaciers, and warming oceans? Are we going to talk only about this, or even about the other livestock, like animals, taking care of animals and the endangered species and destroying the planets? Whereas, because the aftermath of all this is really, really countless when it comes to the people, planet, and also about the livelihoods of the communities. So let's put our heart, mind, and soul together to bring out some change here. Dr. Professor has mentioned that he would like to join the session now for his presentation. Tanuja ma'am, what do we say? The last speaker's message now, he can join for the presentation. But we are really ahead of time. We are really ahead of time, actually. It's really, so with you, sincere apologies. I'm sorry. I think we'll have to take them for the next session. Sorry about it. And so we're going to present the planner now.
Yes.
Over to Dr. Mamta.
Sorry.
Dr. Mamta, are we ready? Dr. Mamta, are we ready?
Yes, ma'am. I'm ready, ma'am.
So I will go ahead sharing my screen so that you can do the presentation.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, my screen should be visible now.
Yeah. So I'll be telling you the schedule for the next upcoming sessions. I hope my voice is loud and clear.
Yes.
So next session would be next Sunday, that is 16th of March. The topic would be on climate finance. Climate action requires significant financial investment. International cooperation is essential for teaching and tackling climate changes. After that, on Planet Only, on 23rd of March, we'll be having Road to Net Zero, Silk Route for a Livable Climate and Landscape. On 30th of March, we'll be taking Biodiversity, a strong natural defense against climate change. On April 13, we'll be having Dr. Zahira with us talking about loss and damage, a moral imperative to act. In the next, on prosperity, we'll be taking on 20th of April, digitalization and innovation, science, STEM, vocation, and employability. On 27th of April, the topic would be entrepreneurship and MSME perspective. That is to modernize and strengthen the industrial units to make them globally competent and sustainable. Under prosperity head only, we'll be having on 4th of May, inclusion of financial architecture and international growth. The presidency will talk about accelerated, inclusive, and resilient growth. On 11th of May, that is again on Sunday only, we'll be having international taxation, trade and investment, exports and imports. May 18th, we'll be talking about celebrating heritage, culture, and tourism. A roadmap, treasure, boosting economy and ties. On May 25th, we'll be having One Health quadripart, agriculture, food security, health is wealth. The presidency about consolidate health priorities and achieve convergence in health cooperation. Under the head people from prosperity will move from, and we'll be talking on 1st of June, education 360, educate all goals leading to one planet. June 8th, we'll be talking about empower to lead to one planet. Shakti Spectrum, Women Empowerment, and Yuva, Go Global Youth Empowerment. On June 15th, the last session we'll be talking about entertain and encourage, engage, explore environment in achieving 2030 agenda and sustainable development with equity. On June 29, 2025, we'll be having our valedictory session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mamta. So on that note, we come to the end of today's session. As we all know, big thanks to each and every one of us who have joined us on this platform and all our eminent speakers who have shared all those beautiful, brilliant, outstanding, stupendous, more and more adjectives that we can add through exemplary insights and from different parts of the globe, as I readily mentioned, like it was not only pertaining to one country, definitely the insights have come from different parts of the globe, and that's to be really taken note on. And all our speakers who have registered and who had really done the research work for giving those insights and for sharing on this mode, really, that is really commendable, and we really appreciate and really respect those interests that you have shared with us. On that note, before we end up, it's a few things that we had to mention over here about the G20 One Planet Cabinet Series. Our main thing is to foster innovation in education system, bridging the digital divide, which is going across the globe, and strengthening the skill development, enhancing education partnerships, promoting inclusive education throughout the globe, as we have already mentioned through and through. And wherever we speak on those things, that we are going to focus on the 5 Ps, that is people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnership. Thank you so much on that note, and we come to the end of today's session. Yes, so until we meet again, as Dr. Mamta has mentioned, in the planet, we are going to talk more about the climatic finance now. So it's a topic which is so dear to our heart and so dear to our pockets as well. So not only to our pockets, even the country's pockets where we belong to. So there'll be more takeaways. Definitely, there should be more takeaways from everyone. As such, I would request all speakers to spread the word around and let them register beforehand, so that we'll be able to interact with them more, because we have a committee who is working at the background to work on those presentations, to just check them, and they get the feedback, and then we come and present them before you all. So in that case, it takes time. So we would like to end up the registration process before Tuesday, so that we know that these are the people who have submitted. So we take just one day to review all those presentations, and we consolidate and come to the final list of the speakers who are going to speak for this week. So the consolidation process, we get over it by Wednesday. So Thursday, we are able to publish our speakers' flyers or the posters in the media. So this is the process which is involved. So hope you all got it. Thank you so much. Thanks to Tanuja ma'am. And once again, our big Tanuja ma'am, would you like to say something before we wind up, please?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. It's very fine, fantastic session, ma'am. Very clearly planned. Thank you so much for this efforts, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Definitely, because we started with 11 speakers. Today we had 13 speakers. Two of them
Yes,
just
ma'am.
joined us last minute. So it so happens.
With various different zones that too.
Exactly. The time zones were totally different. And as they were coming in through, we didn't want to say no. That's the main thing. So a big thanks to all our community partners. Once again, here we go. GSFN, IIU International University, iGen Institution of Green Engineers, R&D Creativity University, Good Vision Seva Trust, and iGen Global, Amity University Dubai, SRM Group, and SIRAM Group of Institutions, Dr. MGR Education Research Institute, Sri College, Ishwar College of Engineering, SRM Engineering College and Medical College of Tiruchirappalli, St. Xavier's Engineering College, Ishwar Engineering College, Ishwari Engineering College, JNN Institute of Engineering, Gracious Legacy Foundation, Global Foundation for Peace, Green Planet with Green Brigade, and Universal Human Values. Thank you so much. Thanks for all the big support. Thanks for all those brilliant speakers who have joined us on the stage. Thanks for all those people who have worked on backstage with us, not to miss on the mention. iGen and Kapilan, who have been the pillar of support, who has been extending all the Zoom links and certificates and everything. We have shared the certificate link. So anybody who is viewing in YouTube live and also over here will get the attendance certificate. Thank you so much. And definitely the speakers will be accredited with the speaker certificate. That will be for the month of June, along with the validation ceremony and all the beautiful coordinators. And before we wind up, I think we should celebrate Women's Day. At least to say one cheers and happy Women's Day to all those beautiful ladies over here. I can see the grinning smile on Dr. Mamta's face. Dr. Tanuja, you too. And ma'am, happy Women's Day to you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Because we are so
Thank you so much.
and
Happy Women's Day to all.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you all. Until we meet again for next Sunday, the same time, IST 7 p.m.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.